You have to do a pause, Kieran.
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
I'm on the spot again. What can I say?
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Absolute Football Podcast, Absolutely Lower League, the show dedicated to all things from the EFL Championship, League One, League Two, and the National League. I know a lot of people have tuned in for me to talk about Rochdale, but I will get all the other football out the way first because there may be tears, there may be tantrums, so we will save that till later on. I want to start on the positives, and what a show and what a panel we've got tonight. I mean, what a team! Anne, how are you? And how's your week been? It's been better than mine.
Well, slightly. Yeah, I mean, you said you want to start off on the positives, then went to me after the week Sunderland's had. But yeah, another week.
That video on the WSL show last night as well. What Sam did, that was quality.
At least the women are doing all right, I suppose.
Yeah.
Another boring and soulless, lifeless week of being a Sunderland AFC fan. But it is where it is. But Mick Beale's gone, so hooray.
Yes. Got rid of him.
Yeah.
On all the positives as well, we will talk to you as well, Nick. We'll get the 3 negative ones out the way first. How are you and how's your week been?
Yeah, I'm good. The week's okay. It's always a good week. I was happy to see that we've got one of the fittest people on our podcast with the way Ant was doing a sprint behind the goal the other day. Absolute quality. But yeah, what a way to win a game. God, that you must have been, no wonder you were buzzing. That was absolutely brilliant.
It was class. I said on last night's show as well, like you don't get those feelings anywhere else apart from football. And that's what makes football so special.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? And getting into what we're going to be talking about later on, those are the moments that we go to work for. Those are the moments that, you go through the shit that, everything throws at you. And, and the country's gone to crap, hasn't it? You know what I mean?
Oh, man,
but you've still got that. You've got that on a Saturday, and obviously I had the Lasses on a Sunday, which it was unbelievable. It was absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
I still haven't come down from that buzz, to be fair. It was so good.
Yeah, I love to see it. It's good.
And the only winner on the podcast, and you enjoyed it that much last week, you just had to come back this week as well. Kieran, how are you and how's your week been? I hope it's been a lot better than ours anyway.
Well, I had to be here because we had to have one winner, didn't we? We had to, be at least a little bit different. No, week's been good in all fairness. I mean, normally we're playing Saturday, Tuesday games, but it's the one week where we don't. So it's actually been quite peaceful and quite nice. But then all the news of, the things we'll go into later and the news about Torquay today, it's just, as a neutral, it doesn't look positive in terms of lower league football at the minute. But in terms of Newport and all that kind of stuff, yeah, fantastic. All beautiful and sunshine and rainbows and all that stuff.
Good to hear. And of course, it's not just us. We have got a lot of chat already we've got. So thank you so much, everyone. We will try and keep up. I'll just put evening all and really hope the ownership situation at both Rochdale and Torquay gets resolved and both sides have an owner that puts the needs of the clubs first and not their own pockets. I will get that onto that a bit later. Ours is quite a difficult one, so I do have pages of notes as well. So you will have to bear with me. Going right back from the start. And that doesn't mean when we were formed. Don't worry, it's not going to be that much of a long one. Mr. Luke, I'll read everyone. 2 wins and 5 unbeaten. What more could you ask for? We're absolutely
Stop showing off, man.
I know. Come on, Luke, give us a break. Absolutely flying and looking playoff bound. A lot can happen in a few weeks, so I will tell you that. Thoughts are with Rochdale and Torquay during this sad time. We are with you, Shah. Thank you. And I have an awkward personality. When I am feeling a bit low and a bit sad, I do try and make everything into a bit of a joke. So I'm not laughing at our situation, by the way. I'm just a very awkward person who doesn't know how to deal with things. Sam even, I've set up your FM duck, Sam. Evening, everyone. Hope you're okay. We are all behind Rochdale and Torquay. Thank you. Kieran, you can multitask.
Oh, yeah, I can post in here now. I finally realised after, nearly 6 months in this podcast, I could comment as well.
I love it.
No, I've got this. So, I put it in the chat at the same time. So there we go.
Oh, check you.
And I fancy.
Dream box.
Look at all these show-offs, honestly.
I know.
Teams are winning double friggin' electronics. What's going on here?
I know.
What more could you want?
Exactly.
Jenna's put, hello guys, hope everyone is okay. Going to be an emotional one tonight. We are all together. Aled as well, together as one. Also, no fan should experience their club being no more. They are part of the town, community and people's lives and should be protected from cowboy owners. Mr. Luke agrees. Jenna's put, agreed. We've been up for sale for 2 years and I feel the only way out is administration because they're asking for ridiculous amounts of money. Simon, evening all. Hope everyone is okay. Thoughts with Sharon, every Rochdale and Torquay fan. Thank you so much for that. Oh, we've got a lot of chat tonight. I'm trying to keep up, so I do apologise. Chris has put, evening all. I lost Spennymoor United all the way back in 2005. Now town. I don't want that to happen to Torquay or Rochdale. Aled as well, at what point will things change? Will it take a big six club to face liquidation for things to change? Every club is equally important. Completely agree. Claire says morning all. Alex has put hello all. We've got Johnny as well. Hey all. Thank you so much for everyone interacting as well. The Mad Rambling podcast has put, evening folks, I'm new here and I'm a gunner. Don't shout at me, but above that, I'm a football fan. The thought of my club being no more, I just can't. Thank you so much, everyone. There's a lot of interaction tonight, so I'm trying to get through them. Just bear with me. You all know I can't see anyway because of my eyes. Like that. Big up,
In all
people.
fairness, I'm here staring at the screen as well. Like, I have to lean in to actually read them.
I'm like that. Claire, probably the last time, who's top of League 2. I don't know who's top of League 2.
I don't know.
They're stuttering a bit on the stock.
Until Saturday.
Yeah, they're stuttering a little bit.
They've been stuttering for a good while, haven't they? But like every other team around them stutters.
They're also
as well,
stuttering.
Yeah.
Adam has put, a sad day for West County football. Torquay United have gone into administration. As an Exeter City fan, rivalry aside, I wish them all the best and hope they can come through it. Sam has put, hope you're all having a fantastic evening. Been amazing to see our community supporting these clubs in the name of football. Completely agree with that. There are sad times for lower leagues of football. We've got Paul as well. Evening, Paul. He's put, evening all. Have to race away for ice hockey practice shortly, but had to drop in to say hello. We hope you're okay and enjoy ice hockey. I can't speak tonight. Ice hockey practice. Just making sure Shah knows all the AFWSL team are with her, especially me, because Coventry know what it's like. We've been there too. Hashtag save Rochdale and Torquay. Really appreciate that. Ben, bless him, up the Dale. Hope you're okay as well, Ben. Tranmere Rovers show. Thank you so much to everyone for tuning in. Really appreciate your support. They have put, we're all with Rochdale and Torquay. Lower league football is a shambles. It started with Macclesfield, Bury. It's now Torquay and Rochdale, save the lower leagues. Completely agree with that. And yeah, we've just got a lot of chat. Many clubs, unfortunately, will be going the same way. Rich getting richer, poor getting poorer. Up the Dale, down the Ale. Love that. Thank you so much to everyone for the kind words and support. I really appreciate it. We'll start talking football anyway. We will start with the Championship.
Oh.
Should I ask everyone about their highlighted games, or do you want to start? And
I think we should task everyone first. To build up. Oh, God.
Kieran, what was your game of the week? Any standouts for you?
I mean, Middlesbrough beating Leicester away from home. That's a pretty big result, isn't it? Will Birmingham beating Sunderland? Anyway, Southampton beating West Brom. I mean, they're back on track after a couple blips, aren't they? And Yeah, Cardiff losing again. So big smile on my face in terms of the championships.
Love it.
Same as Swansea as well, but not as much.
We've got Swansea on Saturday. Guaranteed they'll beat us on Saturday. Bottom of the league. Haven't won for ages. Played Sunderland.
Aled has actually put as well. Thought Kieran would have said the Cardiff result.
Oh no, I had to leave that one. You know, it's inevitable. I'm going to say it, isn't it? But I just have to hold it for a little bit.
Before we carry on as well, I completely agree with Simon. Simon, can I just say I hope Tony Mowbray gets better soon.
Yeah.
We all do as well.
Yeah, definitely. Bless him. Yeah, it's sad, whatever that is. Hopefully, we've had him as managers. Simon's had him. We've had him. What a wonderful person he is as well off the pitch. So fingers crossed, it's nothing too serious. Just send all of our well wishes from Sunderland AFC, to be honest, and everyone really, because he's one of the good guys in football, to be fair to him.
Yeah, completely agree. Nick, I'll ask you before we obviously come to Anne. Any standout games for you?
Yeah, I guess QPR winning away at Bristol City. That's a cracking result for them.
That would have been mine.
They're right down there. I mean, Leeds, they're on a roll anyway, but that's still a good 2-0 victory. But from the sound of it, it was quite comfortable. And we know what a decent side they are. So, yes, Swansea's a strange one. I mean, Ipswich, again, they needed to get back on track. Luke Williams has left Notts County and gone to Swansea, and he's really struggled. It just shows sometime the grass isn't always greener when you move to another club. Sometimes fans need to think what they're wishing for. So he was doing great at Notts County, but he has certainly struggled at Swansea. So how much that's down to the manager and how much down to the players, you never really know, do you? But I'm surprised he has struggled so much, because I think he's very highly rated by players as a coach, but he's obviously just not getting the best out of them at the moment. So yeah, Ipswich back on track, and say for me, QPR, great result.
Definitely. While we're on the managerial subject as well, I've seen, hasn't Neil it's my accent, Neil Harris on to Millwall, which as much as I really like Neil Harris, and I think I said my H's then, by the way, because I took my time. I really like him, but I just feel like, and I think, to be fair to him, he did a really good job at Gillingham, and I think Gillingham should have stuck with him, to be fair. I know they weren't very impressed with the style of football he was playing, but they were getting the results as well, and they were very defensively, they were very good defensively, weren't they? Mm-hmm. But I feel like, obviously, they sacked him. He went to, was it Cambridge?
Yeah.
He went to Cambridge, and I feel like, could this be a really big step up for him at this time, the Championship?
I think it's like someone that knows, isn't it? Because he was there before. I think he's obviously showed in the same breath, he showed tremendous loyalty by going back to Millwall, but then proper disloyalty by getting, leaving Cambridge. I actually took a chance on him, and he was doing all right at Cambridge, wasn't he? But it's one. I think it's one where Millwall have thought, well, there's no point getting a young coach in, because what they need now is someone that knows the club inside and out, because they're really struggling down there. And I think they've just basically just hit that break glass in case of emergency button and went for Neil Harris. I went Harris there as well. Will go down. To be honest, I really do. I think QPR are fighting away there. They're picking up results. Sheffield are picking up results now. Rotherham are done. Rotherham are out of it, but they've sucked that many teams in. We said this at the start of the year, didn't we? There's so many teams that could get sucked out. Swansea are one of them. Stoke. And it hasn't worked for Stephen Schumacher at Stoke at all. And I think they're on about getting rid of him if they don't get the result on Saturday, which I think everyone's kind of, everyone's just panicking, because obviously it's just a massive, it's a huge, loss going down to League One, and it's hard to get out of. It took us 4 years. It's taken, look at Port. There's teams like Portsmouth, Derby, who are still trying to get back up. It's a difficult league to get out of. So I think they're just wanting... I think they just want a little bit of familiarisation with Neil Harris going in,
Definitely. As well, I don't know if anyone else noticed, but the Tranmere Rovers show said also there's an abundance of away wins.
Yeah, apart from Sunderland.
And Cardiff. And Blackburn.
And Cardiff. Cardiff lose every
great
week.
company to be alongside.
Cardiff lose every week, though.
Jenna's mentioned that Preston and Blackburn was a good game as well.
Sheffield Wednesday winning as well. That's pretty
Massive.
big, isn't it, in all fairness?
Simon has put as well, both us and Stoke were poor, and if not for a mistake by them, the game would have ended in a draw. Catcher, I'm trying to waste more time for you here, and
waste as much time as you want. No, let's just talk about every game.
I know.
Let's go to League One.
Ben has mentioned hope Coventry enjoy Saturday because it will be their last win for the next week. Oh.
Just quickly, while Ben's in the chat, how's the preparation going for that, mate? Because obviously it's the biggest game in history, isn't it? But how's the prep going? Fingers crossed, there's no injuries or anything like that. Full 11. And we all, obviously, as much as we appreciate Simon in the chat this, that, and the other, we all want the underdog to win, don't we, next week?
Yeah.
We all want it.
We do love you, Bill Simon, but yeah. Paula's put, let's be honest, we're all just waiting for Ant to talk
Good
about
ice hockey, man.
Nathan Jones getting sacked, aren't we? Do you want to talk about it first, Ant, or do you want to go into more detail about
we'll get out of the way. Get out of the way. Even big screen, everything.
Just for you.
So there we go. He's gone, long last. Manager who should never have been given the job in the first place. Michael Beale, the reign of 12 games, 63 days is over. And it went down pretty much the way his tenure's been, where we had a decent first half. Jack Clark put us ahead, but he's our best player, and he's absolutely carrying us this season. And then second half, we don't show up. Simon, love you too. We didn't show up. Oh, no worries, Shawnee, that's fine. Don't worry. Hope everyone's all right. They came out second half. They got an equaliser, and you knew what was going to happen. You knew from that minute what was going to happen. They were going to go on and win the game. We probably should have taken the lead because Joe Bellingham's gone through. We're 2-on-1, needs to pass it, decides to try and shoot. They go down the other end, get a free kick and score. But that really doesn't really tell any of the story of what's led to Michael Beale being sacked, because on Saturday, Michael Beale has substituted Trey Hume off. Now, anyone who kind of follows Sunderland or something that knows that Trey Hume will run through brick walls for this club. He's a proper, Northern Ireland lad, but he's a proper, man's man footballer. Just loves a tackle, loves to, go through players. Proper old-fashioned kind of player, but we all love him. And he gets subbed off. Walks up towards where Michael Beale is, holds his hand out for a handshake, and Michael Beale completely ignores him. That obviously sets the whole social media off. Michael Beale says after the game, I didn't see him, which I think is a blatant lie, because it's got to be in your eye line that a player's coming towards. I get that he's concentrating on game and whatever, but he's got to have been in his eye line just to shake his hand and stuff like that. And then on Monday, he loses his job. Hate to see managers lose the job, to be honest, but this should have happened. Well, like I say, it shouldn't have happened anyway. He shouldn't have come in. And we're back to square one. We've literally lost 12. He's managed 12 games, so he's been in 60-odd days. We've lost 63 days of our season. That decision has lost us our season. Because I think we probably should be in the playoffs, given the team that we've got. We've got, mentioned Jack Clark before. Jack Clark is by far and away the best player in the league. By far and away. He is carrying us, but we're just having help. We're just having help matters. And then it turns out that Michael Beale has had a burner account on Twitter, always defending Michael Beale, which has been kind of dug out by a couple of Sunderland fans and a Sunderland fan podcasting What the Fork is kind of delved into some investigating kind of thing. And it turns out that Michael Beale, when he was at Rangers, had a burner account called Player ID. And so he's been going on to Twitter defending Michael Beale, saying, oh, he's not seeing him, this, that, and the other. Look at this, look at that. And I can't help but think that's probably what's costing his job, because they've found out. But yeah, so the whole thing was I think he's been sacked. I've just said he's left, but I think he's been sacked. And it's quite telling that the Sunderland, the press conference that came out about, the press detail, I can't remember what they call the damn thing, statement. The statement that came out literally said Mike Dodds is caretaker manager and until the end of the season or whatever, but never said anything about Mike Beale until the second or third paragraph. When that got announced that Mike Beale had left on Instagram and everything, loads of Sunderland players were liking it. And then when he put his statement out, which to be fair was an all right statement, not one Sunderland player has went good luck or anything like that, and no one's liked it. So that just goes to show that he had lost that dressing room. So yeah, I'm happy he's gone. Like I said, I hate to see any manager lose a job, but in this case, I'm absolutely over the moon that he's gone. We've obviously given it to Dodsey till the end of the season, which is good. It gives Dodsey 3 or 4 months, I think, to sort us out and all that, get us, because when he did his caretaker role, when Tony Mowbray had left, he beat West Brom and Leeds. We beat 2 good sides, and it looked promising. And then, but what really needs to happen now? They need to take the time, and what they've got to do now is they've got to get this managerial appointment right. Whoever's next, it's got to be the right person. So I'm quite happy that they've just let Dodsey go in and let him do what he needs to do, because the season's over. We're not going to go in. We're not going to get the playoffs. We're not going to get promoted. We're not going to get relegated. So it's fine now. Get some young'uns in or whatever. Let's see what we can do until the end of the season. We've got a good run of games coming up where we play some very good teams. So the pressure's kind of off. We'll see what happens, because the rumours are that Jack Clark's injured now and is out for the next 3 games or 3 or 4 weeks or something. So that's an absolute nightmare, because we've already got Patrick Roberts out injured, and we haven't got a fit fullback at the minute. There's only Trey Yeomans as a fullback. So we'll see what happens on Saturday, but I fully expect us to get beat on Saturday. But yeah, it's done. Who would I like next? I said this on this podcast a few months ago. I would love Will Still to come in, but now that Steve Cooper's free, and if he's free at the end of the season, I would love us to get Steve Cooper, because I think he's a top quality manager, and he knows how to get out of this league. Yeah. And he plays really good football. So that would be nice. Paul's just mentioned there, if Ipswich don't go up, Kieran McKenna would be a cracking shout, but we would have to pay a lot of money for Kieran McKenna. I'll be prepared to pay that amount of money for him. I don't know. So, but he would be absolutely ideal. Someone to his ilk would be fantastic. But I'm literally like, as I said before, the defeats now, I just shrug them off. It is what it is. I'm happy now to have a dull end of the season. See where we are. Win a few games along the way, brilliant. But then just regroup, regather, and then see what happens next season, to be honest.
Love it. Just going back as well to the question you asked before, Ant, to Ben, is actually put. And is it Apaya? Paul Apaya. Yeah. Yes. My northern accent didn't let me down this time.
Yeah. Is he the lad who got the first goal? Apaya. It might have been. I'm not sure. But he did. Yeah. He had a cracking game though. I remember him. Yeah, that's a shame.
It is a shame,
having Saturday's game called off is a huge bonus for us. There we go.
Love it. Well, I'll be fresh. He's also put as well, Ben. Now, McKenna would be silly to leave Ipswich now. He's on the brink of becoming an Ipswich legend forever.
The thing is, I don't think he'll leave now, and he won't, and it's absolutely stupid for him too. But if they don't go up, and we mentioned this a couple of weeks ago, didn't we? They have spent a hell of a lot of money this year because it's promotion or bust for them, I think. And next season, I don't think he'll get to see him back in. And I think a few players now will put themselves in the shop window. So if they leave, I think he might think, I've took them as far as I can. I'd fancy it as much to be horrible, we've got better all around facilities on and off the pitch as what Ipswich have. That's just facts. You know what I mean? So he might want to, I don't know. He would be very, very high on my list if he was a free agent at the end in the summer, and I think that's why we are waiting until the end of the season, because whoever we've got, I think they're waiting until he becomes available in the summer. So we'll see what happens. But if you would ask us now, who would I want now? I would say Steve Cooper. So there we are.
Simon has put as well, he's already turned you down once, so don't bother coming for Robbins again.
I'd be Premier League manager next year, the way it's going, honey.
Ben also said as well, Naby's one of our centre-backs. Reynolds was the one
that's it.
first
Yeah,
goal.
sorry. Yeah.
And he thinks at Ipswich as well. Second season syndrome for them if they don't do it this year.
It's money. They literally went promotion or bust. Same with Hull this season. And as I said a couple of weeks ago, it's such a dangerous game to play. I would rather do what we're doing and doing it on a little bit of a budget where we're not spending a huge amount of money, but we're developing youth, and developing players that are coming in, like Jack Clark, who came in League One. He's going to be worth 30 million in the summer. Whoever comes for him is going to have to pay a lot of money for him. Dan Ballard, the same. Dan Neil, who we've nurtured since he was a kid. Anthony Patterson. We've got two young lads, Chris Rigg, Tom Watson, who are going to be superstars. So I'd rather do it that way and take a bit longer than do it straight away. Because I would really want us to go up and stay up. I don't want us to come up and down and do that like what Burnley are doing, like what Sheffield United have done, Norwich, for instance, who've done it all the time. I want us to go up there and be there for 10, 15 years. So I'd rather we do that at the right time, which I've always agreed with, as much as I think a few Sunderland fans are a bit going off the model, so to speak. But I've always been behind that, because that's the way football's got to go. There's no point in fork. The only teams that can fork out, hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds are going to be the top four. You know what I mean? And we're seeing what's happening now. You know what I mean? With the signings we've had this week. So yeah, I'd much rather do what we're doing. Pardon me. Much rather do what we're doing, to be honest. And Simon's right as well. Look what they've done. They've got rid of Gyökeres and Hema, invested that money. You know what I mean? Got some good players in, and look at them now. It's took a while. It took a few months to get that, get that going. But look at them now. And if they go up, Callum O'Hare will stay. And they'll be able to develop a very good football team. So we'll see what happens. What's Alan Kirby? Who cares? Who cares?
Johnny's offering you. I know. Johnny's offering you Chris Wilder as well.
No.
No.
No. We'll be seeing him next season, won't we?
Yeah. Just before we move on, any other standouts from this slide, or should we move on to during the week's games? Should we move on to them ones?
No, I think, did I say QPR? Someone did, didn't they?
Yeah.
QPR, yeah.
I mean, Ipswich 4, Rotherham 3. That was a bit of a goal fest, wasn't it?
I watched that game, yeah, that was fab. What a performance, man, Rotherham put on. Fantastic. I mean, they're going down, they've got nothing to lose. Ipswich I think Rotherham took the lead, but Ipswich were 3-1 up. And then Ollie Rathbone, Rochdale legend, went off injured, didn't he? Clattered into an advertising board. I think he's all right. I don't think it's that bad. I love
Ollie Rathbone. What a player.
Yeah, and fair play to him. But the second half, Rotherham were absolutely amazing. You were like, you couldn't pick who was the team near the top, and it was the team flat at the bottom. Rotherham just went for it. Got a penalty, got the equaliser, but then Ipswich went down the other end and scored. I was like, oh crap! But never mind. Fair play, but fair play as well. Ipswich, who looked dead and buried, didn't they, in the promotion race, and then have won the last three. And Southampton have fallen off. Well, fallen off a cliff, but they're just dropping a few points here and there. But see what happened. But Leeds look a team now, haven't they? They've won every game since the 1st of January.
But that Ipswich result and the way they did it is the sort of performance that gets you back on track, isn't it?
Yeah.
To concede a 94th minute goal and then get the winner in the 95th minute, they desperately needed that, obviously, with their recent form. And that's the sort of one that you can then start to get the belief back. And maybe you've had call it a bit of luck, but I didn't see the goal. I don't know what it was like.
That was a good finish.
Those victories are just ones that, as a fan, you absolutely are buzzing for, aren't you?
Just very quickly on that as well, and I've been seeing this all season about Ipswich Town, though. It's took 4 goals. They've had to score 4.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
It's for me, it's still just that's still in the back of my head about them, is they're having to score a lot of goals just to get, that's only like, +1 on the aggregate, you know what I mean, for the goals difference. I still think that, I mean, I think Leicester are up. I still think Leeds and Southampton are a better bet for me. And whoever doesn't go out of them two, I would probably say are my favourites in the playoffs. As much anything can happen in the playoff final. But when Ipswich go in there, see if the playoffs and Ipswich don't make it in the playoffs of them, Southampton, Coventry, West Brom. You've got three sides there in, Coventry, West Brom, Southampton, who know what it's like to get through into a playoff final. Yeah. Whereas Ipswich in the Championship haven't done it for years. So I would just fancy other teams than them. But fair play to them. I mean, I expect them to fall away badly, but they're still thereabouts, and we're in March. So, we're nearly in March. It's crap. What Kane McKenna's done there is unbelievable, to be fair.
Completely agree. This made me laugh as well. We actually haven't. We're behaving tonight. Claire, that's a bad influence. Me and Kieran are innocent in this.
We had said we were very innocent in the
very innocent.
in the events that took place last week that we will not name.
How come that podcast ever made hundreds of thousands of pounds? Feet pics.
It started the business off. It's a slow burning one. It'll get there eventually.
Oh man, the bit that got me though about last week's podcast was when everyone went all serious and we were like getting all emotional about like why we do the podcast, and then Claire were fighting a moth away.
It didn't even happen just once. It happened like 3-4 times. We were trying to get back on track and it happened again.
Just kept happening, yeah. Bless her. We do love our Claire. Johnny's put Hull beating Southampton. I mean, very good
result. Win. Cracking result. And that puts them in the playoff position, doesn't it, Hull City? I think they're in sixth now. So, again, they're... is it Rossini there?
Yeah.
He's been doing a good job for quite a long time, and he's obviously building something there. So they're not going to be far off the playoffs.
Mm. Yeah, they've got young Philogene, haven't they? Who's just probably just took to the Championship like a duck out of water, hasn't he? What a footballer he's going to be.
Signed a lot of players, haven't they, Hull, this season?
Well, they've used the loan market really well. I thought they've, with the loan additions they've made, I think they're. Obviously they won't be long-term kind of fixes, but in terms of what they needed to actually keep this momentum up, they've used it really well. So fair play to them.
Definitely. In the chat as well, Sam has put, Leeds have only conceded 1 goal in 8 games, going to take some stopping at the moment.
There's only one defence that have conceded, how do I word this? The team below them in terms of conceding less goals. That's Newport. We're second in the entire EFL.
Love that. Love that. Shawnee as well as put, I thought Cardiff versus Blackburn was an amazing game if you wanted to fall asleep. I
think the one thing I wanted to bring up on the Ipswich Rotherham game, and I think it's more Rotherham than Ipswich, is if you ever needed a game to realise that you're going down, it's that one. You play really well for a second half, but you still fall short. To me, that if it isn't already nailed in the coffin that they will be playing League One football next season, that game definitely should be doing it.
Well, they had a League One strike force, didn't they? Tom Eaves and Charlie White playing for them. So they're well equipped.
They're already, they're set up for it. They'll absolutely walk the league next season, and they'll be the yo-yo club of Championship and League One.
Simon put as well, we were hoping that signing that many players would muck Hull up.
Well, it might if they don't go up. The amount of money they're losing every week.
Exactly. And then obviously Plymouth Argyle 0, West Brom 3.
Great result for West Brom.
I have someone I know that supports Plymouth, and they were saying that is the worst game they've seen in a good while, because not only did they lose and lose convincingly, but no matter what they did, they never looked like getting back into the game. Like, I know, everyone has different opinions on XG and all this other lovely stuff, but when you're looking at it and it was like 0.11 at the end of the game, no shots on target, you're looking at it and you're going, hold on, something's evidently going wrong there. So, I don't think they'll be in any trouble because I think they've kind of done well enough to steer clear of that bottom patch. But at the same time, you need to actually be picking results up to make sure that you aren't even in the discussion of them.
Chris has put West Brom just got taken over as well.
Yeah.
They have. Our very own Sam, Plymouth really hurt by losing. Is it Azaz? Azaz. And Kundal was really good.
He was at Newport, wasn't he?
It was Newport for Azaz, yeah. Probably one of the best players we've ever had and ever seen. Unreal.
Yeah, decent. Yeah, really good player.
Luke as well as put promotion or bust for Hull and Ipswich, like Ant said.
I kind of hope both of them don't go up, and then we've got a bit of an easier task next season.
We've got 2 left that you have to worry about.
We've got loads. But no, I think, to be fair, I think this season's been the most competitive championship for a long time. Yeah. There's some, in going down to, Watford, Bristol, City, who was still very good size. Borough 13th. And Borough's not been too bad this year. You know what I mean? It's so competitive. But there's so many good teams. Them 3 teams, Leeds, Leicester and Southampton, who come down from the championship, are just miles ahead. And it just goes to show how well Ipswich have done to still be up there, because them 3 sides are just unbelievable, to be fair. But we'll see what happens. It's very, very tight, but like I say, we're done. We're sitting. I'm on the beach now. 10th. I'll take 10th to 12th. Will do me. That'll be fine. Yeah.
I know.
Look at QPR.
Just so sad.
It is sad. Fair play to QPR though. They're pulling it back, aren't they?
Yeah, they are. And look at Stoke. As I said before, Stoke are really, really on the brink. Millwall, Huddersfield. It's another team. They've got a new manager now, haven't Huddersfield?
In all fairness, everyone wrote off Sheffield Wednesday before the season even started, and they're trying. They're only 4 points out of actually getting out of this. I think it'll be really interesting to actually watch the relegation battle, because there's probably, you look at that, you go, Rotherham are already down, but in terms of the final 2 spots, you probably say maybe there's 6 teams in there that you could say you could have an argument for going down. So it'll be an interesting one.
From Birmingham down, isn't it? There's only a few points between them.
Definitely. So just reading out the table, so top of the league, no changes there. We have Leicester on 78 points. Leeds are second on 69 points. Ipswich are third, also with 69 points. Southampton are fourth with 67 points. Bit of a gap though. West Brom are 5th on 55 points. Hull City are 6th on 54 points. And then in relegation, 22nd, we have QPR, who have 32 points, but just a point behind Millwall in 21st.
And do you know what it is on Friday night, Shah? Leeds and Leicester.
Oh,
Friday night.
What a game.
Yeah. If Leeds win that, Leeds are up. That's my prediction. If Leeds win that game and they're at home, they're up.
Yeah.
I think they'll just run away after that. But that'll be a crackerjack of a game. That
we'll have to do some score predictions.
I'm excited for a really dull 0-0.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it.
What we all reckoning then? Who should we go? Who are we going for? I'll ask you first, Ant.
Home advantage, Leeds.
What about you, Kieran? I'll put you under pressure now. You're having a drink. I've been mean.
Well, go. To be fair, you can't knock back, as much as Leicester are, walking it. You can't knock back Leeds at the minute. Home advantage. They've got solid setup. Good team, good options. We'll say they win 2-1, but I'm excited for the 0-0 that will ensue from it.
What about you, Nick?
I'm going with Mr. Luke. I'm saying Leicester will win.
Really?
Yeah, I reckon Leicester will have enough in there. A little bit more experience, a bit more. The thing with Leeds is they're so attacking at home, and they're so front foot that if Leicester play it right and get them on the break, I can see them doing them.
there'll be goals in it. Like, I mean, as Kevin just said, it's either going to be 6-8 or something, or 0-0. There's going to be no middle ground. I just think Leeds are on a bit of a
every single time I've said, "Oh, this game will, it'll be wonderful. It'll either be a 0-0 or a 1-0." Every single time I've looked at it and went, "Good game, that 0-0."
Yeah.
Just going to the chat as well. Mr. Luke has put Leeds 1, Leicester 2.
Yeah.
Aled thinks Leeds are going to win 2-0. I agree with Jen, actually. I reckon it'll be a 2-2 draw. So I agree with Jen. Sam has put 4-4, double Desi, Friday night fireworks. And Chris has also put QPR versus Rotherham on Saturday. So that's a big game for QPR.
Yeah.
Massive game. Considering what's happening at Millwall. But do you reckon there'll be a new manager bounce for Millwall? Or do you reckon it'll take him a bit of time, Neil Harris? Because like we said, even though he knows the club, it is still a step up Championship football, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's actually the right choice, to be honest. Considering what else they could have gone for. They've just gone for familiarity. I think that's actually quite, especially with a team like Millwall. Everyone knows what Millwall are like. They need someone on there who knows the club. So I think it's actually quite a wise appointment. But I've seen Millwall play a couple of times this season, and they are not good. They really are struggling. It's obviously after what happened with the chairman in the summer. Bless him. You know what I mean? They just have not recovered from it. I would like to see them stay up, to be honest, because it's always a very, very adventurous time going down there. But I don't know. I just think QPR, if QPR go down, I think that's them done as a club, to be honest. The amount of money they're going to lose. I think, but there just seems to be a bit more fight in them than it does in Millwall and Stoke, for instance, who just look poor. So we'll see what happens, I think.
Oh, exciting times. Should we move on now to League One?
Yeah.
We will. I mean, the result at the top, to be fair, stands out. Bolton 3, Charlton 3. Graham's not in the chat, but fair play to Charlton because they're struggling at the minute, aren't they? Scoring 3 goals and obviously away from home at Bolton. So good.
Yeah, it's a good result because, like you say, you wouldn't expect Charlton to go there and get 3. You're going to be disappointed, aren't you, as well? Scoring 3 goals away from home
and not winning.
So,
good result. Good result.
Well, while you're talking as well, Nick, any standouts for you from League One?
I would say, Blackpool winning it. Peterborough, they got a late goal, stoppage time goal. And my friends down the road dropping points again, so that's always a good result. Wickham getting a 0-0 draw with the other lot down the road.
The other lot. I love it.
But yeah, probably for me, the standout is Blackpool because Peterborough they've got quite a decent side and they've been going well. And the other one, looking at a team that has been doing well, Leyton Orient getting beat at home by Burton. So that's what you wouldn't expect because, as I say, Orient have been on a bit of an improved run. So that's a bit of a dent for them. So and Burton Albion, that's a cracking result away from home because it's not an easy place to go. Down at Orient, it's a real well-run club, good setup, good manager. Unexpected result that. So pretty good.
Completely agree. And there's a lot of people talking about Carlisle in the chat as well. Mr. Luke has put Carlisle United are down and out, I think. Chris completely agrees as well. He said that'd be shocking. Simon has put Farley won't have been happy with the Stevenage result. Mr. Luke has put Farley.
He would have been, to be fair, he would have took it all right, wouldn't he? Because he's such a happy chap. He would
have said, we were close to doing it. So
bless him. Yeah. Chris has put Cheltenham beating Port Vale as a huge result.
Yeah, that would have been mine, to be fair. Well. Yeah, that would have been my result of the weekend, to be fair, in that league. Considering Cheltenham hadn't scored 3 goals, till about December. They're scoring like 3 and 4s in games now, and they look to be the team who are going to get out of it at Port Vale's expense, to be fair. But my team, Shrewsbury, my ones to watch at the start of the season, another defeat. So that's gone well.
Maybe one to watch for, I don't know,
the other way, relegation.
Yeah, other way.
Shawnee obviously asked, and it says Southampton, Northampton fan. Mark Leonard, what a baller, and scoring after being put under pressure at 2-1 to make it 3-1. How's Louis Molden getting on as well? Because he seems to be playing quite a lot. So I'm really happy for him. What a keeper he was. Tranmere Rovers show has put standout for me is Cheltenham versus Port Vale. Darryl Clark beating his old team. Love that. We mentioned him quite a bit on last week's podcast as well. We all really do like him. Aled has put really want to experience the Carlisle away trip.
No, you don't.
It's a long way.
It's only like an hour and a half, 2 hours from me, but I still don't want to go. It's
not overly far from me, but Steve.
Every time we go, the fans absolutely hate us as well. There's always riots on it. It's never a good game of football. It's always freezing. No, not for me.
Chris has put Pompey doing a business against Reading at home. And hello, HS4PFC, I'm presuming, is a Pompey fan with this comment. If we don't go up this season, Pompey will never go up.
Yeah, and, they'll go up. They'll be fine.
Jenna's put worst fans by far. I'm presuming that's Carlisle.
Carlisle or Portsmouth, because Portsmouth are up there like trying to fight Luke 09 in the crowd in the playoff semi-final. I'd rather go to Penrith, so would I. Chris is bloody lovely in Penrith.
Sam made me laugh on this as well. Carlisle takes me about 3 weeks to get to.
Do you know what it is, though? For teams like that, like obviously Sam lives down south. Sam can get to France quicker than he can get to Carlisle. It's mad, isn't
it? Kieran, any standouts for you what we've not mentioned? Or you can say for ones we have mentioned. Say anything.
The usual life philosophy of, Fleetwood losing, that's backs. That was the first one that I got caught on to. Them lot from over the bridge, you're losing 3-1's always one that I enjoy in the same way I enjoy watching Cardiff lose. I think Wigan beating Shrewsbury. I mean, do they get dragged into it? It's a very good question. They've been not really helping themselves, have they, in all fairness? And for me, as someone that quite likes watching relegation battles, because I'm more used to them than promotion pushes.
I feel your pain.
The Cheltenham result against Port Vale, I mean, you can't overlook that, can you? It's a fantastic result. And there's so many Port Vale fans joining League Two Facebook groups saying, I'm here in preparation for next season's. They seem to be confident as ever.
That was literally me last season with Rochdale because we were bottom for ages. I think I unfollowed every League Two page and was like, not league, let's get my knowledge up to scrap on this. Oh, funny. Jen has put rather go Barrow away than Carlisle, I'm thinking.
Barrow.
Mr. Luke, Portsmouth deserved to go up. I completely agree. France versus Carlisle, a difficult choice of destination.
I don't know. I'd be flipping a coin to decide which one I go to personally.
And then you'd be flipping it again till you got the right one.
Exactly. I'd be saying heads for France, tails for France.
Tranmere Rovers show, we got 20+ goal striker of Christian Dennis off of Carlisle. He scored 6 against us last season in 3 games. Was it a mistake letting him go, Carlisle?
Sounds like it.
I don't know why he's asking anyone here. None of us are Carlisle fans.
I know. It was a mistake for them, but not for you. Is it a good thing for you, Tranmere?
In all fairness, he probably scored against us or did something when we went up to their ground at some point. God knows.
I can remember him last season being on fire, I know it said, obviously I only, fleetingly watched League 2, League 1 and all that stuff, but I always remember seeing his name popping up on the highlights, that Christian Dennis had scored again, so, any side who goes up from League Two and gets rid of a striker with 20 goals, it's mad, isn't it?
I was going to say, though, did Tranmere pay a fee for him? Because haven't Carlisle just been taken over and weren't they struggling
they got took over in
financially
January,
at the beginning of the season?
Yeah.
So maybe that's a possibility where they needed like quite a quick cash flow, or that's if obviously Tranmere did pay for him, which I'm intrigued to hear about. So please let us know. But I think
and then they spent stupid amounts of money on a goalkeeper that can't make a save. So, always interesting to look at.
Aled has put as well. If I can cope with the cold weather at West Bromwich Albion and Oldham, including the mould, cold road stand at Wrexham, the cold at Carlisle should be okay. It is very cold. Very cold.
It's a different kind of cold up here, though. You know what I mean? It is a different kind of cold. It's freezing.
It is. Darlington's very cold as well. Tranmere Rovers show us put it was not. Came to us and scored 3 so far, and he's injured. Carlisle let him go on a free. Wonder if his wages were high then or something. Don't really know. Shawnee as well. Louis Molden has been doing quite well, and then Tony Springer gets a 92nd minute equaliser versus Oxford to make it 2-2. Absolutely buzzing.
Just that name is such 1980s football.
I know.
Tony Springer.
You looked at the name, said it, looked at it again, and it's that much of an unusual name for modern football that you're like, is that right?
I had to recheck. I was like, is my accent doing me dirty here? Right.
It just brings us back that name is the in-betweeners bit where he kicks the door and that's his face. Fucking Mr. Springett. It's Tony Springett. You're up there.
Tranmere Rovers shows put his wages can't be high. We made one loan signing in January.
Well, what the bloody hell are Carlisle doing then?
Yeah, what's going on? Unless
he's not high wages. You didn't get a fee. He scored 20 goals. What's wrong with you?
Unless he fell out, him and Paul Simpson clashed or something.
I guess that's the only thing we can imagine, right? Manager fallout. Or... You can't even say you wanted to take a step up because he went down. So
I feel like though we have to do some digging now and find out, because I'm actually really intrigued to why Carlisle have done this. For shame, Carlisle. Why have you done this?
For shame.
For shame.
Jen has put by the sea is a different kind of cold.
Exactly, Jen. It's a different kind of cold.
Just up north in general, isn't it? It's just
Hartlepool is one of the coldest grounds I've been to.
That is a very cold.
The away stand, there's a gap between the top of the wall and the roof of the stand.
Yes, there is.
And that wind just whistles straight through there, and it's bloody freezing.
Yeah. We play them in pre-season friendlies in July, and it's freezing cold.
Yeah,
you got to wear your big coat.
Yeah. I think that's the new slogan for the North. The North, a different kind of cold.
Different kind of cold. Yeah.
That's
Game
all
of
it
Thrones
is.
in the wall. You know, we are beyond the wall up in the north. You know what I mean? It's freezing cold. Freezing cold.
I agree with this as well. Tranmere Rovers show. Also, while we're on League One, we have Rob Apter from Blackpool, quality player, scored 7 goals. We've fallen in love with a lone player. Oh, we all fall in love with them. I know.
I've done it. I've done it this season. I've done it.
Same.
Tranmere Rovers show. How's Josh Hawkes doing, by the way? Because he's ex-Sunderland. I loved him at Sunderland, Josh Hawkes. Nice little youth player. Who I think was from Carlisle, actually. I think we might have signed him from Carlisle. It was either Carlisle.
We've gone full circle. Many times.
We have got as well in the chat, Paul has put, it's absolutely horrid what's happening to clubs as Rochdale and Torquay. Proper teams, proper fans. Everything about this game is wrong. I stand with Rochdale and Torquay. Never say die. Thank you so much for that.
We're trying to make a laugh though, McSweeney. Don't bring it up. Stop bringing it
up. It's been going so well.
We're all laughing at Sunderland 20 minutes ago. It's fine.
I know. Chris has put,
talking about Tony Springett.
I've been to Whitby and Hartlepool, and that's cold. Chris has put.
But Whitby's nice, so it might be cold, but Whitby's a beautiful place.
Aled has put, been to North for a bit in shorts during autumn.
That
Paul
was
has
a
put,
stupid decision.
this is true, to be fair. Oldham is very cold. I agree with Paul on this one.
I went
It
to
is very
Salford,
cold.
and it was like Salford was like October, and I don't need to tell you how much I hate Salford. But
I
by
hate
God, what
Salford.
made it worse is that it was freezing. I've never been in a more cold ground in my life.
Do you know what?
Awful.
Do you know what really got me right? And I'm not going to speak that much about it, but when the news came out about us and the liquidation, Salford fans, but like free Salford fans, because they don't have a big fan base as it is. And I'm not calling
That's
them,
all of them.
obviously, I'm not calling them die-hard fans because fair play to them. But some have obviously jumped off a bandwagon now, haven't they, compared to like previous seasons? They were like, ha ha, so glad to see the back of this club. I'm thinking, who are you? We don't have any links with you apart from Matty Lund, who went there, and Ian Henderson went there when obviously all that trouble went on. And I'm thinking,
Right.
who are you? Like, we don't have a rivalry.
You're from the same kind of area, so all of a sudden they have a problem with you.
I know, I'm like,
Weird.
who are you?
I was looking at the comments and I was like, some of them were like, oh, they're really nice and happy. Then all of them were like, haha, terrible club, glad to see the back end of them. I'm like, hold on, wait a second. You were like, these are fans of clubs that have, been through it and stuff. You were upset when your club was gone. So why comment about a different club? Oh, it's just weird to me.
Exactly. Everyone's agreeing with Salford. Fair play though to the actual die-hard Salford fans. Like, fair play to yous, but I mean, come on.
I do. As much as I make fun of Salford quite a bit, I do quite like the few fans that I speak to. We always have good chats about football. So, yes, to the four of you, cheers. Only joking, partly.
Simon has put Blackpool is cold when your away stand was a temporary one. That was freezing.
That was cold.
Paul again, Hartlepool fresh. Whitby also farm with all the fish and chips. Mr. Lucas, but I've been to Oldham and Rochdale. They are both quite chilly. I don't think we're that bad, to be fair. When I've obviously been at Dale, and to say that we don't get many fans is well, I'm calling Salford. We get more fans than them, by the way, everyone. But it's not that cold, but
no,
maybe it is.
Both times I went down, it was all right, to be fair.
No,
nice and warm.
Right. But actually, the coldest I've ever been in the stadium was MK Dons when they played at the National Hockey Stadium.
Oh, yeah.
New Year's Day, we were there, and that was absolutely freezing. The only good thing is we won 1-0 and their keeper saved a penalty. So that made it worth it.
Well, it all made it worth it. I think the coldest I've ever been on football, like going to a football game, was Dover Athletic.
Yeah.
On that, what you mentioned as well, Anne.
Josh Hawks, I read it.
Yeah, did you read it?
I like Josh Hawks.
And just
never mind.
This made me laugh. Tesco's has a better atmosphere than Salford. Shouldn't be saying that with our atmosphere sometimes. I like
Well, the problem is, McGade said they're on an athletics track, so it's quite hard to generate any atmosphere. It is. Yeah. I've played in that ground. It is a bit of a weird kind of thing. Because obviously, like I said, it's the outdoor arena where athletics is run, so it is a bit strange. But they're all right fans, to be fair. They're all right.
And you're getting called out of Simon as well, guys.
Oh, what have I done?
MK franchise, not Dons.
I haven't. I never mentioned the name. It was Nick.
Yeah, it was franchise. Alad has put Kieran Morris is a good player, and Tranmere Rovers show has put we took 1,500 away fans to Salford and beat them 5-1.
Yep.
Love that. Love it. Love to see. So we're just going on to the games now from midweek. So we had Cambridge 1, Bolton 2, Oxford 2, Northampton 2, and Reading 2, Port Vale 0. So a good win for Reading. Very good win for them. Just shows as well how much Port Vale are struggling.
I can see why they're joining the Facebook groups now. In all fairness.
Should we have a look at the table? I can see now.
Yeah, I see. The resounding issue seems to be all of that area, this way. It seems to be an issue. To be fair, they've got 2 games in hand, but you always say you'd prefer the points, wouldn't you?
Got to win them both, haven't they? Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Charlton, bless them. Oh,
I know, they're
oh.
really
No
struggling.
wonder Graham's not here. Christ.
I know. They're really struggling in previous seasons, haven't they, Charlton? And it's just going from bad to worse.
Yeah, and Nathan Jones as manager as well. It's not good. It's not good. But I said this. I know Shrewsbury. Good grief.
Darling, surely you don't want Shrewsbury to go down. Your best mates and all that kind of stuff.
And Fleetwood ain't quite too far away. I know. To be fair, though, I'm going to leave Fleetwood alone now because we've got a mutual understanding now, me and Fleetwood.
To be fair to Fleetwood, though, Shah, since Charlie Adams gone there, they've actually picked a few points up, haven't they? He's actually done a relatively decent job. But
Charlie Adams.
Yeah, I mean, they're still probably they need a big run, but they're still probably too far away.
Shawnee has asked a question as well. Bolton win their 3 games, they go top. They've got to win them, though.
Got to win them now, yeah.
Got to win them.
We've always said that.
So, top of the league, we have Portsmouth on 72 points. Derby, our second. We mentioned Derby as well. Derby.
Didn't we say we were going to do posh voices 2 weeks ago?
Derby.
Derby County.
Derby County. I sound weird saying that. Our second on 66 points. I've got the giggles now. Bolton are third on 66 points. Barnsley. I had to stop there because I knew I was going to do it. Barnsley fourth on 60 points. Oxford are 5th on 57 points. Peterborough, everyone's laughing at my accent, are 6th. Did I say Peterborough? Peterborough are 6th on 56 points. And in the relegation zone, we have Cheltenham in 21st with 32 points. Port Vale are 22nd with 31 points. Fleetwood are 23rd with 26 points. And Carlisle are bottom of League One with 20 points.
Yeah, they're definitely gone, aren't they?
No, 100%.
Aww. Aaron has just come in and said, 2 of my faves on tonight, Shah and Kieran.
Me and Nick should just leave. Cheers, Aaron.
Yeah,
Cheers, Aaron.
I feel like me and Kieran are the new Ant and Dec then. Oh, God. Oh, I'm glad I'm laughing now because I won't be laughing later. So thanks, guys. Just going back to the chat as well. Chris has put, OMG, Shah, love it. I think that's my accent. And he said that, you're all my favourite.
There we go.
Jenna's put as well, oh, God, I think that's laughing at my accent as well. Simon has put, many years ago, one of the best days of my life was at Charlton. We lost 4-1, but Leicester went down because they drew with Stoke. Mr. Luke has put same. I think that's saying that we're all his favourite, which is very nice. So thank you.
That's lovely. Thanks to the 2 lads who live close to me saying I'm one of their favourites. Cheers, lads.
Right, so we're on League 2. Anybody want to talk about their teams first, or should we go for highlight games?
Kieran go because he's got something decent to talk about.
In all fairness, Nick, I don't really have something too decent to talk about because that was probably the most boring game of football I've ever watched.
But you still won.
Still won. That's one thing I've been talking about all season is that, you don't have to play pretty football to win games. And there's been some games where we've, played really nice and, we picked up results or not even picked up results. But that one was, it was for the most of the game, uncontested possession in the midfield, loads of long balls, and just, I felt like I was watching a game of rugby for a good majority of it. So, wasn't good fun. Then Will Evans, as per usual, Will Evans by name, Will Evans by nature, scores his 19th in League 2 or whatever it was, stupid numbers, 23 for the season, I think it is. yeah, wonderful volley on his weak foot. And, I could talk about that for the next hour if you want, but, I'm not going to go into talking about a volley for the next hour because I'm sure the retention rates will go straight plummeting down. But yeah, I said, last week that we needed a response from the Notts County game. And to be honest with you, I thought it was going to be 0-0 watching most of it. And it probably does look like a 0-0 for everything of the game. But, some games are defined by moments of magic. And that's exactly what it was on Saturday. And it keeps us in the race with half the division for 7th. So, yeah, it's going to be a very interesting kind of run-in to see who actually gets 7th if Barrow kind of slide down because they lost again on Saturday. So, yeah, it's very interesting League Two, isn't it? So, good fun and another win to steer us clear of trouble, which was the thing I was worried about for, since the start of the season was, are we going to go down or are we not? And we're going far above expectations. So, even if we don't finish in playoffs, I'm stupidly proud of the team and where we've kind of portrayed ourselves and put ourselves. Yeah, I think we're 46 points, 49, whatever it is, but it's stupidly close to that 50 points you associate with safety, and we're only now turning into March. So, yeah, good result, real happy, and move on to MK franchise now on Saturday.
Love it. Love that. We've got a lot of people in the chat as well, and I know there is a lot of League Two fans, so if you do want to send me all your thoughts on your games, please do, and I will read them out. But how lovely is this comment off Ryan? He's put, evening everyone, hope you're well. I genuinely would love to see all of you as a Soccer Saturday panel on Sky Sports. You're all talented people. Imagine the carnage.
Oh, that would be car crash.
Carnage.
That would be
I'd be the one keeping the level head because I quite enjoy football at the minute. So I'll just sit in the corner while you three shout at each other about football.
Just sort the contract out. Sort the.
Yeah. Put the numbers down and get them sent to me by email, please.
Imagine me, Barnsley versus Derby.
Barnsley versus Bolton.
Yeah, no one actually pulled me up on the Bolton one today.
I was waiting for you to say it. I was expecting somebody else to call up on it, but nobody did.
I said it first as well.
We've become so accustomed to it that nobody questions it anymore.
I would love it.
Mr. Lucas put as well, Stephen Wern and Kyron Lofthouse is some player for League Two. You can tell why we loved him. At Gateshead, Nick could back me up on this one.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, he did score. No, he scored 2 crap goals on Saturday. Actually, no chance.
Going back to what I said before, you've got 3 people in here who could not give a shit about results anymore.
Yeah.
Whatever. Every player scores against us. Who gives a fuck?
We always concede
at
least 2. Oh dear.
Oh man.
Shall we talk about it?
Yeah, go on, Nick. We'll talk about your game before we go to the chat.
Well, we played the franchise on Saturday. 2 of our ex-players there, Jack Payne and Dan Kemp, who we only had on loan, and they just ran the midfield. We didn't get a look in. 2 goals down within 8 minutes. Game was dead. 2 terrible goals, a mix-up between the centre-half and keeper on the edge of the box. Oh, you get it. No, you get it. No, you get it. You get it. Fucked it up. Oh, sorry. Messed it up.
No, don't worry.
Ball was knocked into the square, and Wern just had the empty net to tap the ball into. So we just got done. But the interesting thing is, Kieran will be interested in this, for all their nice play, and I don't know whether it's because they just sat back because they didn't have to do much. because we were poor. But that's a very dangerous game to play. And looking at the stats, it was 50% possession. We had 12 shots to their 9, apparently. Quite hard to remember. We had 2 on target and they had 3 on target. And we had 5 corners to their 1. So you look at the stats and think, well, that was quite even, but we were never in the game, to be fair. We got a goal in the 89th minute from Charlie Austin. And then there was a bit of panic in their defence at the end. The ball was pinging about. It was like Sunday morning football with the ball pinging all over the place. And it was like we had sort of 5 minutes of excitement at the end of the game. So it was, it was that sort of game. But for me, for all their nice football in the middle of the park, which you would expect with Payne and Kemp, because they are really good footballers, to be fair. But as I said, if they do keep doing that, they're going to come unstuck, because if you're that good, you should be putting teams away. You've got to go for 3, 4, 5 goals, and while you're on top, because everybody knows a 2-goal lead is quite a dangerous lead. If we could have got one back in the first half, we would have been in with a shout. So, but the problem we've got is we've brought in players in January that aren't fit. We've got players that he can only play for so many minutes, which is, it's a case, I think, of just getting players through the door, which isn't a great strategy. We've got, players that if they can do 20 minutes, they're doing well. So, and that's the big problem we've got. So, and we go to Stockport on Saturday. Obviously, they're needing to get a win. Although, from the boys on Fools Rush In keep saying someone is going to get a pasting soon. Wouldn't I love it if that was Saturday? Hi, Claire. How you doing? Everything all right? That would be fun. Especially the only time I went and watched Swindon at Stockport was in the FA Cup. And the previous game, we'd beaten Mansfield 5-2 at their place. And we went up there quite confident. We got beat 4-0. It absolutely lashed it down. And we were in that uncovered away end. And I thought, I ain't going there again. It is horrible. So, yeah, it wasn't good. So that's all we can say about our game on Saturday. We didn't deserve anything from it, to be fair. Although, they could have messed it up easily. So, where are you? Are you at their place or are you at home?
We're at their place, yeah. I think we've sold like 500 tickets or so. So,
yeah, and they'll stick you in that top stand where you can't. Hard to get an atmosphere going, rather than just sticking in the bottom behind the goal. They stick you in the top stand, and then
they surely do that for a reason, don't they?
Oh yeah, of course they do. But their fans are dotted all around a 32,000 seater stadium, and it's horrible, absolutely horrible. Actually, there's no atmosphere. The away fans can't get a decent atmosphere, however many you take. And it's it's a horrible place to go, to be honest.
You can get a nice Frankie and Benny, so there's just one just opposite the ground.
Stadium looks like stick photos of, I guess.
Yeah, so you never know what you're going to get with them. So, but we know what we're getting. Although we'll say that we'll probably go and beat. Is our manager called him Stocky? Never heard him called that before, so we'll go and beat Stocky on Saturday. Love you, Claire.
Stocky.
Beat Stocky.
No, don't worry, Nick. That article said that you're still in the playoff.
Oh,
race,
apparently we can still make the playoffs.
Mathematically, it's possible.
To get 70 points, we've got to win 10, draw 1, and only lose 2.
Yes, come on, Nick.
Come on, we're there.
Started, here we go.
We can do it. Starting Saturday. Come on. The boys will be up for it.
That article. It made me support Swindon. I went to go run over there and buy a shirt the second I read it. The unbeaten run starts now. But you talk open roofs. I felt so bad for the Gillingham lot because they were in that Rodney Parade has those green chairs and it's the It's the open stand. And they were there, you know, building up their atmosphere, cheering along their team, and very close game and all this stuff. They then went 1-0 down, and then it started tipping down. So
Yeah, but you shouldn't
everything
feel
that
sorry.
could have went wrong in this sequence went wrong.
Yeah, but you shouldn't feel sorry for them with their temporary stand that they put
Yeah.
away fans
Exactly.
in.
Not with the
Exactly,
final
gave them the
destination
punishment of
stand.
temporary. I think the temporary away stand was still up as well, so we gave them a taste of their own medicine in that
Yeah.
regard.
I
So,
love it.
in all
Fair shout.
fairness, the only experience I've had of that temporary away stand at Gillingham was final game of the season last season, and it was lovely. You know, it's like May, June, sun's out, it's boiling. When it's nice and warm, that stand is fantastic. But I would not want to be the on the receiving end of a rainy day following your team away at Gillingham, because no, thank you.
The only bother with it, like we beat them 4-1 in League One a couple of years ago now, and I mean that was our first season in League One, like, and it was quite nice. It was a nice day out. It was nice and sunny, but I just couldn't enjoy a game even though we won 4-1 because I feared for me safety for 90 minutes. I literally thought I was going to die, and we were like 4 off the back. So we're thinking if someone goes,
I was near enough sat at the front because I was like, no, I'm not going all the way back there. No chance. Even though it's been a temporary stand for 20 years or so, not risking it still. And I at what point do we stop calling it a temporary stand? Because it's been there for two decades. Is it a temporary stand anymore?
No. Should we call it the Paul Hessenthaler stand or something like that?
Yeah.
You know, a legend from
I
Gillingham.
was going to say that because we actually, the first time I went there was when we got to the playoff semi-final, and that was one season we got to Wembley, and that's when we played Stockport and they beat us in the playoff final. And then we played Gillingham in the playoff semi-final, and that was before then the season after we actually got promoted. So that was like, when was that now? Off the top of my head, I can't think.
I don't know. You're not still a fan, I wish.
I don't know.
I don't know.
There's a lot going on right now.
I
That
don't
was a
memorize
distant
playoff
memory.
finals from donkeys ago, unfortunately.
Just going back to the chat.
Call it the Scoops FM stand. Yes,
Yeah.
yes, surely.
Tranmere Rovers show has put League 2. Who's missing so I can't tease them? I think that's Claire.
Stocky.
Claire has
Stocky.
put Tranmere, well worthy of the points. Completely different team that we faced earlier in the season. Nigel Adkins doing a great job for them. We were woeful. Oh, still top of the league for now, though. Still top of the league.
I did read that instead of Nigel Atkins. I did read that as Nah. Nah's doing a great job.
Nah. Nah. Shani's put Sharon Kieran is Ant and Deck and Ant and Nick, Paul and Barry Juggle.
I'm not that old, are we?
No, you've got to define it between
Deck,
who's
the bloke
Ant and
actually
who's Deck.
named Ant gets called somebody else. I mean, come on. And I'm a Potter Ant as well. He's got a H in his name, the bastard.
Oh, Claire, you should have joined us. You should have joined us. The Mad Rambling podcast, bless him, has put, this might actually be my new favourite footy podcast. Proper fans and I'm being educated. And it's definitely not by me, that then.
Educated.
I know. Thank you, everyone. I don't know who is being educated by.
I think it's all the accents from around the country. That's
I
what
know.
it is.
Speaking of accents, everyone's picking up now. I'm a Bolton.
Bolton, there we are.
Yeah, here we go. All the Bolton. This is why this podcast is award winning. Yeah, we've
That's what I said the first time I was on here. I can see why it's won an award. And then you said it was a pity award or something because they felt bad for you. I don't know what you're on about. This is the greatest pod I've ever taken part in.
Oh, thanks, Kieran. Claire has put, OMG, just noticed you put Uncle Nick.
I am. That's my new handle. Yeah, Uncle Nick.
Oh, this is really sad. Oh,
that is sad. Yeah, but
that is
it's
really,
no
really
age,
sad.
isn't it?
No, not
It's
at
no
all.
age.
That's so sad. Jenna's put, it's the worst stadium, away fans shoved in the top as well. Really is. No Papa John's in the away end. Aaron has put, one of the only F&B still going. Jay has put, hope everything turns out well for Rochdale. And hey, everyone. Hello. Thank you so much for that. Simon, Newport and Gillingham have the 2 worst away ends in the EFL.
Yes.
I don't know. Accrington Stanley's is bad when you get to the really uncovered end and it pisses down.
I don't know. I do not enjoy Forest Green.
Oh,
Aaron, go away.
Worst stadium ever.
We're intrigued.
Accrington's good because when we went there, you're in that, say, the away stand. If the game is boring, you can turn around and watch a rugby league game going on across on the other pitch. It's brilliant. And they only charge £3 for car parking. That's even better.
Love it. That's good, man.
When we played Swindon at our place, there was a promotional thing going on. There was a Budweiser's truck, and it had like a QR code of the it had a QR code of the I don't remember what it was exactly, but like you scanned it and you got 50% off like a Budweiser's like a pack of Budweisers, and it was because Graham Cochran talked about how he likes Budweiser instead of wine or something on that lines after
He
the
looks
United
like
game.
a Bud man, does Cochran.
And we we got to the people in the Bisley stand were obviously getting really bored of the Swindon game because the first half was just dire for the most part. And this Budweiser truck was driving up and down the road. I don't know where it was going or what it was doing, but it was just going forward and back. So we got to a point where there's a little gap in between the North Terrace and the Hazel Terrace. There's a little gap where you can kind of see the streets. So there were people who were just chanting and celebrating every time it drove past because we got so bored of the game. And then it got to a point we were celebrating a Budweiser truck driving up and down the roads. Good fun.
Speaking of truck, or should we say engines, fire engines? Aaron has put, Kieran, do your Fireman Sam impression for the gang?
I think I need to give context to this, and I don't need to give too much context. I'm sure you can get the drift. But he's not talking Fireman Sam. He's not talking Fireman Sam. He's talking Norman Price. That's who he was referring to. Naughty Norman.
Naughty Norman.
Oh, Fireman Sam, they need help in Ponty Pandy.
Mr. Luke has also put, Ponty Pandy needs your help.
Ponty Pandy needs your help, Kieran. Fireman Sam's off sick.
Fucking hell.
Oh, hi, Claire, by the way.
The original Fireman Sam in the 90s? I know like a couple of people might be a little bit too young. But does anyone remember the original Fireman Sam? Like when it was, I think it was like 92, 93, something like that. That was bloody brilliant, that television programme. Absolutely fantastic.
Oh, should we have a Fireman Sam watch along?
Yeah.
Have we got to dub the lines over with me instead? Can we all do voiceovers for Fireman Sam? Voiceover an episode.
Imagine my northern accent. Ponty Pandy.
There's a fireman somewhere, Bolton.
Oh, they need you up in Bolton.
Oh no, it's spreading to Derby.
Oh no, it's going down south.
Shah, there's nothing wrong with a northern accent.
Oh man, I think mine's worse than yours though, Claire.
Mate, it's not bad.
Claire, say Bolton.
Bolton.
Say it's not
Yes.
Bolton.
Can you say Bolton, please?
Bolton.
I agree with Sean here. Educated is a very strong word, yeah.
Oh, it's only going to get worse now.
Oh no.
Tranmere Rovers show us put, I could genuinely argue that Tranmere have the best away stand in the league. It's to yourself, not shared, and it's huge. 2,300 capacity. Simon has put, Atkinson.
But if your team gets fucking hammered for 4-0,
4-0, yeah.
then to be quite honest, I'd rather sit in Beirut. Where is Beirut?
You're not bitter, are you?
I don't know.
Claire, you seem to have taken the loss really well.
Oh, yeah.
I like how you said you'd rather sit in Beirut, but now don't know where Beirut is.
Yeah, I don't know where it is. I mean, we're
You
definitely
question
not
yourself
on
immediately.
goal difference. We're on about. There's a freaking moth.
I guess it's the same moth.
Round 2.
Ding, ding, ding.
I'm gonna be brave and catch it.
Oh man, let's go
Just
through all
catch
these.
it. Something, yeah. Moth
It
really
spiders.
I've got it. You ready?
Oh,
Oh, it's not there.
No.
Oh, Wolsey, our Reading fan friend, bless him, has put, hey guys, just finished work. Sorry I missed a stream. Up a ding. Oh.
Yeah, Tranmere deserves to beat us, and I've got no qualms on it at all. And yeah, I don't know where Beirut is, but
She'd rather be there.
you'd rather be there anyway.
I don't know where it is. Actually.
where is it? Where is it,
I'm in
Uncle Nick?
geography. Isn't it?
Middle East.
Yeah.
Jordan Turnbull's very good, but do you know
He's
what's
not.
really weird about him? He's got the most perfect beard I've ever seen in my life. But do you know if you're looking? I mean, I don't mean it like it's going to sound. The reason you'll understand why I'm telling you, because when you're looking at him, like at the other end of the pitch, it looks like he's wearing a face mask. It's literally like full black. Like, yeah, it's good. It's good.
No, he's not.
His beard had Paddy Madden pocketed.
It's good.
Claire, I see that you really took interest in the football after a good while. Then.
The Tranmere podcast guy will probably know who I'm on about. When Tranmere scored the first goal, one of their whoever scored it, I think it was a defender, he started celebrating into our fans and being like, but I love that when our players do it.
It is very
so
best.
I just laugh, but our fans are going mental.
Davies scored the first goal.
I'm gutted that you're not coming at the weekend, Uncle Nick.
I know. Sorry.
Did you
I
stop
said-
traveling and not doing very well?
No. It's it is a long drive, and I, to be honest, I haven't been brilliant driving at night lately. So, if it was start of the season, I'd definitely go.
Fair.
But, yeah, it's
Get your son to drive. And where's Lebanon?
Lebanon, it's in the Middle East, yeah. It's near Iran, isn't it? It's one of the, it's around there somewhere.
This really made me smile. The Mad Rambling podcast has put educated in non-Premier League stuff without fans of the same club arguing about who is right or wrong. This is a really nice micro community and everyone seems to enjoy each other's company. That really made me smile. That.
Oh, it's because we don't care, that's why. We just
Hey, I don't care, thank you very much.
Sorry.
This as well. But yeah, all the odd northern accents is a bit of an assault on my southern senses.
All right, mate. I'll adopt a northern accent, but with like a bit of a southern twang. So next time we'll talk about Tom Davies. Scored the most shots in the league. He's quite good. He's quite good, you know.
All right. You're gonna have to hold the fort a minute, and we're gonna have to talk about these games because you're making me laugh too much. I don't want any accidents live on air. So bear with me. Claire, you can carry on.
Do you want to talk about Stockport?
Yeah, Claire, talk about
Stocky, sorry.
Stockport.
Let's talk about Stocky for a minute.
Did you know you're
already given my
Did you know you're called Stocky now?
Yeah, you called
Yeah.
Stocky, Nick decided.
But we were awful. Like, we forgot how to defend. Like, out of our last taking away Gillingham, I mean, up to this point, 6 of our last 7 conceded goals have been from set pieces, which is absolutely ridiculous. And we're top scorers in the league, but we've suddenly forgotten how to score. It's just so weird because it kind of has happened all of a sudden. And obviously after that Grimsby match, I was like, oh my God, this is the first time I've said it. I think we might win the league. And now I'm thinking, shit, we need to sort ourselves out.
I said Shrewsbury are go up in League One, the 5th or bottom.
We've been like 4 months at the top of the league, and now I'm like, shit. Like, and to be fair, I've said it all along. Top 3 is the only thing I care about.
Yeah.
I was like, shit. Like, if we keep on doing what we're doing now, we won't stay in the top 3. We've got to sort this blip out.
Can you just wait a week?
No.
But at the end of the day, Claire, you have literally rolled out the red carpet for either Mansfield or Wrexham to take that top spot off you. But you look at even the results there. You look at Mansfield, who lost to Walsall, and we went there 2 weeks beforehand and pumped them 3-0 at their place. So it's one of those things of just,
it's
you're
really
getting quite
weird,
you're getting a bit of luck because nobody's consistent.
Let me read this stat that I got sent earlier, because it's actually a little bit crazy.
Is this why you came on for? Because you got sent a really good start.
This made me laugh. Did you see Simon's comment?
It says, is Dick Van Dyke?
You know who Dick Van Dyke is?
All right, mate. I'm from Kent.
That was a bad accent from Dick Van Dyke.
One for the statos. Not one team in the top half won their last game, apparently. I mean, I'm sure I'm sitting here with a
we're outside the top half. 14.
Oh,
yeah, and in the bottom half, Claire, every team won except for one team. Guess who?
I tell you what, though, and I know we'll look at the table in a bit, but I think value for money, pound for pound, that playoff race in League 2 at the minute has got to be one of the closest.
And Swindon aren't in there.
No, we are.
Crazy.
Oh wait, no, I forgot. You are, yeah.
We are.
I forget. I'm sorry. I apologize.
We've just got to win 10 games, and we will get into the top 7.
Remaining 13.
Yeah.
Hey, guys, for the very, very last time, probably, who's top of League 2?
Stop, poor God, Claire. We tell you this every week, but you still
Who are Mansfield playing? Well, Mansfield against Salford. They
have
might
us.
be okay.
They have us.
Salford have had some crazy results lately, haven't they?
I'm going to ask you a question. Who's top of the form table in League 2?
As
I care
will
about
tell
form.
you, it's about points on the board.
I care about form. Even since like the turn of the year, we're still in playoffs. So you know what?
I actually care about form. I'll just have a win
bit of the season out. We could just take this bit, take from January to now, and we're fine.
I'm trying to find Aled's match report.
It's unreal, isn't it? There's
Aled's probably saying that we got lucky because a perfectly good goal was ruled out. The same as it was on Tuesday night.
Oh, I've got it, everyone. Let me read it out.
Did he not mention that?
If he doesn't go for the handball.
He's put, in our game against Notts, the first half, Notts should have been ahead at half time. Is it Okonkwo?
Yeah.
Okonkwo? Oh, nailed it. I'm getting buried.
Nailed it.
Okonkwo kept us in the game. In the second half, we came out the blocks quicker and could have scored 2 in the second half. Sorry, I missed that.
On the 6 of 6, there was a solid half-hour debate between everyone on there about the perfectly good goal that was ruled out for handball. Now that you passed it, was it a handball or not? Because I don't see how that hasn't been given as a goal. And maybe the ref didn't see it from that way, but to me, you could even see that the Wrexham players weren't complaining for handball. They just walked off and looked like they wanted to start again. So, and then they had exactly the same thing happen on Tuesday, didn't they? So, yeah.
I'm getting a bit worried now. Michael, please say some more on this comment. He's just put, Shah, have you seen what the supporters trust have put out? So please let me know. I've been on here live, so I've not seen.
Do you want us to have a look? Because I'm on Twitter.
We can have a look now, yeah.
I'm a little bit scared now, so please.
I've just been reading that Luke Matheson, the Rochdale Legends, got on loan to Bohemians.
Oh, I see, because he was at Bolton.
He's a Bolton,
He's a Bolton player, yeah. Aaron has put, have you not seen a National League playoffs? We will get onto that very soon, Aaron, I promise. Let's just go back to these other games as well, midweek, which we didn't touch on. AFC Wimbledon 0, Crawley Town 1. Gillingham 0, Stockport County 0. Did you speak about that one, Claire? Do you want to speak about that one?
We should have won, but we didn't use the best of our chances. We had something like 10 shots, but only one of them on target. Neil Burns shot himself when he had a chance to go and score. I think he had a bit of a nosebleed because he was too high up the pitch. I forgot what he was doing and tried to defend instead of score. Kind of squared it away from goal. It was so weird. But yeah, I mean, given we've lost to the tune that we have the last couple of games, we really needed to stop that. So I'll take the point for now. And plus, Gillingham are a massive bogey team to us, so to get a point there is always pleasing. There we go. Short and sweet.
Michael has put as well, Shah, don't worry, it's the most positive thing I've read since Wednesday. So
yeah.
I tried to find it. There's nothing on Rochdale's Twitter and there's nothing on Rochdale's Twitter.
I might have an email. I'm part of a trust, so I think people have sent me an email. So I'll keep you all up to date with it after. I'll have a read of it.
In terms of that MK Dons match, MK fakes. Milton Keynes should have actually won because there was a perfectly good goal scored that went across the line, but it was disallowed. So really, Wrexham should be in the same boat as us, having lost 2 matches, but no, 2 points.
So they would have been like 4 losses out of their last 5 or something on those lines as well.
2 more points on their way to promotion in it.
Yeah. Walsall have added themselves into the they're very near it anyway. Same with Crawley. They're starting to climb into the lovely 7th place race, which includes
I don't get Walsall. Walsall just seem like they're
so they beat the teams they shouldn't. They beat the top end of the league, and then when they play the teams around them, the teams below them, they always kind of just give up. It's really weird, but. Yeah, fair play to them, I guess. I know a lot of people were calling for Matt Sadler to be let go after the Newport game because he was trying to be kind of optimistic about it, and everyone was just not happy, as you'd expect, losing 3-0. But to be fair, since then, what have they won 2 games on the bounce?
But they had a good run before it as well, because we ended. What was it, a 5-game winning streak or something like that when we played them? I think they just need to get a little bit more consistency. But like you say, they are heading towards the right place.
I mean, in all fairness, no team has consistency, do they? You talk Harrogate, they almost haven't looked the same since that game against Mansfield. But I don't know. I'm going to try and say this as unbiased as I physically can, but I can't word it in lack of finding a better word for it. I think we're the only consistent team left in the league at the minute in terms of actually picking up results. But I'm excited to be saying that, and then we'll lose on the weekend. So, looking forward to it.
If you look at the top 7, the most any of those teams have won in the last 6 games is 3 games. They're all dropping points.
We've got, out of our last 6, we've won 5, lost 1. So
I wasn't going to mention that.
Yeah, I was going to mention it because we beat you during that.
Out of our last 6, we've won 1.
Yeah,
the run starts on Saturday. The run starts 10 wins.
Stocky, watch out. That's who you are,
mate.
Stocky.
That's what our manager called you, Stocky.
You're called Stocky now.
Look at Claire's face.
I love the way you went when you originally said Stocky, you were like, nobody's ever called them that, but this is my thing. This is what I'm calling them. They are Stocky from now.
They are Stocky.
It's a new version of Spursy. It's Stocky.
just going back to the chat as well, obviously we've got Dietrich in here and she's a Bradford fan, and obviously they play Sutton. She's put delighted with the win against Sutton. Callum Kavanagh on the score sheet again, onto Barrow at the weekend. I'm really sorry I missed that first time. There's loads of chat at the minute, so I'm just trying to get through it all.
Love Callum Kavanagh. He was on loan at Newport last season. I think he did really well, so I'm glad to see you starting well at Bradford. I think there's 2 goals in 2 games and or something like that. So they're picking up form, aren't they?
Massively. He's got playing some really good stuff as well. Wolsey has put, with everything going on with us, so proud of our fans. We have Carlisle on Saturday and we are bringing 1,700 fans up there, and it's about a 10-hour round trip. 5 hours there, 5 hours back. Just so proud of the fans for everything that's going on. Bless him.
Hey, Wolsey, thanks for explaining what a 10-hour round trip is. I'm only joking. That's really
that's
good.
providing the motorways behave.
And
Yeah.
we all back Newport, Reading to somehow get out of the predicament that they're in. So good, fair play to you. You should win there, hopefully.
Speaking of Stocky and Newport, Claire, I've actually booked for the. I think we have. Okay, is it March? It's next month, isn't it? Like midway through next month, we travel to your place.
2 weeks at a time maximum for me, Kieran.
Yeah, don't be falling over when that happens again.
I'll stay away from Newport.
Yeah, never. Yeah.
I don't want any more crutches.
Bad luck charm though, and it all started the conversation last week that we won't go into ever again.
No, someone actually asked today if we weren't mentally prepared for the foot picture again. Jen, our Morecambe fan, has put, the picture is absolutely disgusting. We had no choice. And half the squad was ill, so we struggle. No chance, sorry. She corrected herself. Michael has put that apparently we have investors lined up. Reading things on Twitter, that's what I've got from it. I'll have a look later.
Fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed, yeah. Ella just put in the MKFC franchise
Hey,
game.
that's generous putting FC.
I know. Lewington should have had a red in the first half after his challenge on Cannon. When I first saw this clip of a disallowed goal, I thought it was a goal.
There is a different angle of it, and there's always the argument of if there's the different perspective of looking at a sphere and if it's crossed the line and everything. But to me, it looked like it crossed the line. But
the important question to ask Aled is if he managed to get a fish cake and Milton Keynes.
Just finishing off Aled's match analysis as well. He's put, in the second half, we could have potentially got a pen after a challenge on Palmer. Spennymoor Chris has put, Spennymoor have a trip away to Bishops, Stortford next Tuesday, and that's a long trip for the National League North game.
That is a long way to go.
That's in Hertfordshire near London.
And it's classified as North.
Mental.
I don't know where the divide is because I keep seeing different questions.
It's always
weird because
France.
We used to have Oxford in it. We used to have Oxford. We used to have Lowestoft, which is like as far east as you can go.
Is it Brackley Town in the north as well?
Yeah,
That's like near Reading.
in the north. Hereford are in the north. Yeah, it's really weird setup.
I think the furthest north team in the south, Dover, are kind of the ones that almost look like they're on the cut-off line.
It's all right though, because when you get promoted to the conference, nearly everyone's in London, so you kind of don't mind you're used to the travel.
Everyone in League Two's in the north.
Yeah, it's not fun traveling to away days, is it? We've got further to go other than Forest Green. It's kind of just on the doorstep.
Yeah, but who wants to go there?
Exactly. You could have put any ground. You could have put any ground and that one. No, thank you.
It's the most unsafe ground to go to.
I'd hardly call it a ground, in all fairness.
Just looking at the league table anyway for League Two. Stockport are top with 62 points. Mansfield are second with 60 points. Wrexham are third with 59 points. Crewe are fourth with 58 points. MK Dons fifth with 55 points. Barrow was sixth now with 53 points. And Harrogate seventh with
Ow.
48 points. I know. After that thumping they got as well. Against
The
Coventry.
thing they had was goal difference on like every other team by them, but then they concede 7. So it's like, for
Yeah.
that rate, you look at 7th to 16th even is 3 points. Like,
Apparently they conceded 9.
where
Yeah, it was 9-2, wasn't it? So it's a
Yeah.
7.
Yeah.
they can they 7 on the goal difference. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Difference. Close enough.
Oh, it's ever since I declared my hatred for him, so maybe I'll go. I really do rate Harrogate.
I got a Harrogate Town Top sent to me this week.
We'll put it in the bin.
Considering me stocky one still hasn't come. Claire.
I needed
Send me your
something to
address,
wash the
you
car with,
That's
in all
true.
fairness. Can you pass it over?
I told you to send me your address, and
I will.
And the bottom of the league table, we have no changes. At the bottom, 23rd Forest Green on 23 points, and Sutton United are bottom on 22 points.
Paul
How
Grimsby conceding
close is
5
it?
to Doncaster.
Yeah.
Paul
close is
Grimsby.
that?
Paul Grimsby.
Yeah, but
yeah, I know.
like you
Yeah.
say, you look at that league table
Mm.
down to Walsall in 16th,
2 points.
3 points behind Harrogate in 7th. It's crazy. Absolutely
What's
crazy.
weird is that Walsall have like a better goal difference than Harrogate. So literally they win and Harrogate lose and they swap places in the table. So there were a lot of people talking about, that you usually have to get into the high 80s to win the league or to get automatics. But every single team is so inconsistent that I don't think that'll be the case because anyone can beat anyone. I think it'll be like 10 points different to what we usually expect in terms of automatics.
Oh, great.
We were.
We've
Go
got
on,
a chance
Swindon.
then. Well, yeah.
We
Here
were
we go.
trying to work it out.
Swindon.
I'm in a chat that's full of like proper statos, and they reckoned we'd need to win about 7 more games.
How many games
No.
you got left? 13.
Yeah.
I think you need more than that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I would say 10 at least. Because that close, isn't it?
Like Swindon need. And Swindon will get, not just need, they will get.
Yeah, we'll get the 10. Don't worry.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
I have no. This wasn't sarcasm. I genuinely mean it.
And I'm so sorry, guys, but I really want to talk about the National League now.
Go on, Bromley.
I
Come
know.
on, Bromley.
I know.
Yeah.
We've spent a lot of time on the EFL, so I do want to get into the National League now. And we will go with you. Any standouts for you? Have you just said it?
I've said Bromley, but obviously, again, another 2 wins, because obviously midweek as well, another 2 wins for Hartlepool. Super Kev doing things at Hartlepool. Absolutely brilliant. Brilliant. And it looks as if they're safe from relegation now. So I'm over the moon that Kevin Phillips has gone there and done the job. Absolutely over the moon for him.
We've got Mr. Luke as well preparing his match analysis. If we do have any other National League fans in here for a specific club, please send us your match analysis as well. We love hearing about it. He's put from the Wheelstone game. Aaron, send your Oldham one in as well. We'd love to hear about the Oldham game. It's put Wheelstone. All I can say is that we absolutely dominated them through the whole 90. We managed to score 3 goals inside 20 minutes, which I cannot believe that happened. However, Wheelstone, when they were 3-0 down, still made it really tough, but yet again, not great from them. And then I'll mention the midweek game as well. He's put the Kidderminster game. Yet again, another incredible performance from us. Totally dominated and tore them apart, which was in the back of my mind before the game kicked off. We have the most informed side in the league now alongside Hartlepool, which means the North East teams are running riot in this league. Love that. We've got Nick's Oxford City next to our place. On paper, this should be an easy game for us and get nasty for Oxford City if we get the first goal. But who knows with this league? Bless him.
Yeah,
Bless
hasn't
him.
been good.
Sorry.
Nick, just a question about Oxford City. Have they won since you adopted them as your Northern League club? So every time I watch this, every time I see them, they're getting hammered.
Yes, I think they've won one.
Oh, that was so sad. Oh, poor Oxford City.
Should go for a
And I
Sunday
think,
league.
Go for
if I remember
Chesterfield because
rightly,
they're starting to lose.
I think it might have been Woking. I
I
think.
love that absolutely everybody calls him Uncle Nick now.
I know. I always go on the Phil's podcast as well, and I'll always write Uncle Nick whenever he's on.
I know they must be thinking, what the hell is she on about?
I'm watching
Uncle Nick, who?
Aaron has been speaking about the Oldham game, and he has put on Saturday we just bossed it from the off. Could have been 6. Mikey Fonder.
Go
Mikey
on, Fondop,
can
lad.
have my child.
Go on, Fondop.
Everyone loves Fondop.
Who
Sam
doesn't
has-
love Fondop?
Sam has put as well, they beat Ebbsfleet with an Uncle Nick report.
Oh, there we are.
That's who they beat.
Guys, the title race is back on. For Chesterfield losing 2 on the bounce. Title race is back on, guys. You did it first.
I've actually got as well, it's nice to have a fellow Rochdale fan in the chat tonight, and I'm going to read his match analysis first before I say mine. Michael's put, Solihull, all I can say is what an appalling game. That was a tippy-tappy passing around the back needs to stop. And Tavon Campbell's shushing the family stand really annoyed me. Well, I completely agree with that. The game, it is just so frustrating, and I do agree with the tippy-tappy football. It is doing us no favours, especially considering since Louis Molden, I've said this for the last few weeks now, considering since Louis Molden obviously went to Northampton, we've got a new keeper in. He doesn't fully know his defenders yet. Our defenders look so much weaker as well, considering we've not got Louis Molden. Communication, they're not communicating again. They're making really stupid errors. And the tippy-tappy football isn't working for us. And it definitely isn't working on an awful pitch. I don't know if any of you have seen any of the highlights from our game, but our pitch was absolutely, it was a mess. And you can tell that the rugby club also plays on that pitch as well, because it is just a shambles. But I'm not going to call that rugby club, because without that rugby club, we wouldn't have the money, because obviously we rent it to them. So financially, we need that rugby club, Rochdale Hornets, to play on that ground. But there was just on the left-hand side to where I sit in the Pill Street end, which is the seating behind the net on the left-hand side, it was just one big puddle, and everyone was struggling on that side of the pitch. It was just a really random game. Obviously, we went 1-0 down, and then Cian Hayes got us back into the game. If anyone's going to score, it's Cian Hayes, bless him, with a really good goal as well, a really good finish. And we thought, oh, nice one, we're getting back into it here. And then both teams had chances. We had our chances as well, but I just never saw us winning, and it's just so frustrating at the minute. And on the pitch is now getting frustrating. Obviously, we've got our situation off the pitch as well, which I will get onto a little bit later. But then what I didn't get, Tavon Campbell, who we bought when we were actually under Robbie Stockdale, and this was in the January transfer window of Robbie Stockdale's first season. We bought Tavon Campbell, a striker, and he didn't play that much for us, and we didn't really see that much of him. And I don't want to come on here and slag a player off because I don't know all the ins and outs. It's just stories that I have heard, and from what I have heard is he didn't want to play for Rochdale. He got an injury. I don't know if that was true. He got quite a bad injury at first, and then it was just all injuries and niggles. And then apparently he had a fallout with Jim Bentley and didn't want to play under Jim Bentley. And then I think this season, from what I've heard, so please don't take this as the stone cold truth, because I do not know. It's just from what us Rochdale fans have heard. Jim McNulty kind of offered him an olive branch and said, obviously, I'm the manager now. a clean slate and everything. And I think he invited him to a meeting, but he didn't actually turn up to Van Campbell to this meeting. And basically from there, he burned bridges. So we sent him straight back out on loan. And then when he scored, it was typical from the moment Solihull Moors signed him. And it was really good that we got money for him, because all us Rochdale fans thought, obviously, is going on a free at the end of the season when his contract runs out. So getting a fee for him was really good from our end and a good bit of business. And from the moment that we signed him, I think it was our next home game with Solihull Moors. And straight away I thought, you know what's going to happen? Van Campbell's going to come on and score against us. And anyway, he started and he scored against us. But he went up to, obviously our family stand, there were kids stood there. There's like older people stood there. He's coming shushing us fans. And us fans have never done anything wrong because we haven't seen much of him. He was the one with the problem with our football club. We've not really had an opinion on this player because we've not seen him play that often. And he comes over shushing us.
I think like shushing fans is just a bit of shithousing, but like going to a family stand to do it.
Going to a family stand at first, but going to a family stand, shushing fans who haven't really got an opinion of you because we've not seen that much of you. It's like fair play. If James Ball, if we like drew AFC Wimbledon he plays for, doesn't he? I get them mixed up, the franchise and AFC, but it's AFC, isn't it, he plays for. Mm-hmm. If he came over with all like the trouble that he's had with our fans didn't rate him, and it got a little bit like heated from
Jimmy Ball's mega.
From both sets, got a bit heated. So fair play if he obviously did it to us, because some of our fan base didn't like him. So I could understand that, and it got a bit personal on Twitter, which I don't agree with, to be fair. I really don't agree with. I've never had an issue with him. There was bits on the pitch where I felt like it could have done better, like the way he put himself across, and there was certain things with fans where obviously it didn't put himself that well across, but I've never had a problem with James Ball. He's always been nice enough with me. But I couldn't understand it from that point of view, because obviously he's had an issue with fans and kind of thing. But from Van Campbell, I just thought, what? Like, we don't even know you. Do you know when you just look at him? Who are you? Like, fair play, you scored a goal that's got you the 3 points. It was always going to happen. It was always written in the stars for that to happen. But no. Michael as well has put, I'm no fan of the new keeper, and we've lost 4-4 with his tippy-tappy stuff. It never works. We pass from the keeper to Landell to Nevitt, and then either to Gordon or John, or straight back to the goalkeeper. I mentioned last week, and Dietrich has actually said about Adam Clayton. Adam Clayton is returning back from injury, and I personally think, not last week's game, the game before, I had a big rant about it on last week's podcast and said they should have kind of weaned him in the formation and with the players that he's kind of been with all season, and I still stick to this. I think Ryan East needs to play the number 10 role for starters, because our best form came with Ryan East playing that role. I think Jimmy Keohane needs to play. I've seen a lot of Rochdale fans criticise Jimmy Keohane and not rate him, but I think he's a very solid player. He can score goals as well, and I think he's quite consistent. So I think Jimmy Keohane needs to play. Our keeper, I don't really want to be too harsh on him in one aspect, because I feel like our defence have massively letting him down as well. But I do agree that it has made a couple of errors, but then I feel like he has just been brought in and kind of thrown in at the deep end. He's our only keeper as well, because Brad Kelly's out for the season. So I think he's kind of adjusting to that style of football as well that Jim McNulty wants to play. And he's not played this season, I don't think, for another team. He's from Notts County, but I don't think he's played that much football for them. And I think, to be fair, a lot of it, I said it last week as well, a lot of it was Louis Molden wasn't just the keeper. He started a lot of the attacking play, which is mental from the goalkeeper side. So I just think we massively miss Louis Molden. He's just a massive miss for us. And I think at the minute, things are obviously happening off the pitch, and maybe the player, the manager and the players knew a little bit more about this before us fans, and maybe that's kind of having an effect on it, because us fans it's massively affecting us, and at the end of the day it's these players, our manager as well, all the staff, maybe they're thinking like what's going to happen, and they're in the unknown. So as much as obviously it is frustrating at the minute, and as I mentioned last week, we are looking over our shoulder now at relegation, I think a lot of this is maybe unsettlement from the situation, what is going on at the minute with the club, and you can't blame them for that as well. But yeah, this tippy-tappy football, as you did say, Michael, it is very frustrating, and we were all calling it at the start of the season, and then we were all like behind it when our form was doing well and when we were doing well. So I think we've just got to try and, at the minute, just ride it out, because it's just a massive situation what's going on with the club as a whole at the minute. And I'll mention that right at the end, because I do want to give the National League results some chat as well. I just don't want to make it about that as much as I will after. Dietrich's put 100% Ryan East should play in a more attacking role, as he definitely did that job well. That's when he was scoring as well, so I do believe Ryan East should be playing that role. But yeah, on to the rest of the National League. I'm trying to think of the results. Aldershot, that's a massive win for them against Altrincham. Two sides who are in really good form at the minute. Two sides who, obviously, watching them against us this season, they played really well, really attacking sides as well. So that was supposed to, on paper, it looked like a good game, but massive hats off to Aldershot getting all 3 points, because Altrincham are very difficult to play against. Very difficult to play against. Ebbsfleet as well, winning 3-0. That's a massive result for them, isn't it?
That's the one I was going to catch on to. Was that the result that meant that Eastleigh sacked their manager for what I believe is the third time, because he's been appointed there more than, he's been there 3 times, which I've got a few people I know that are Eastleigh fans from when we played them in the FA Cup, and I said, was it the right decision? And they went, yeah, definitely the right decision. But I do question why we've had him appointed 3 separate times. And I went, hold on, wait a second. 3 separate times. I know that there's the saying, that, it all works out the third time. Third time's a charm, all this stuff. But no, you surely, in terms of a football manager outlet, if it doesn't work once, maybe you do it a second time if you're desperate. But 3 times seems a bit excessive.
Yeah, mental. It's like John Sheridan, isn't it? Oldham coming back.
I mean, I understand coming back once and all this stuff, but twice, especially when I was told that the second time didn't end too well.
Yeah.
So I know that he had good kind of, relationships in his first spell and parts during the second, and that maybe gave him a bit of a better reputation. But to me, it confuses me. If you're letting go of a manager twice and the second time apparently didn't end too well, surely you don't go, oh yeah, you know who we need? The guy we've binned off twice.
Oh, funny.
Unreal to me.
Obviously, we had some games as well midweek. AFC Fylde 2, Solihull Moors 2. I mean, AFC Fylde are flying at the minute, which I don't like to see, but they are.
Player doesn't like to see either.
Aldershot obviously winning of the game. Tough game as well against Barnet, so hats off again to them. Bromley 2, Dagenham and Redbridge 2. Great point for Dagenham away at Bromley. Ebbsfleet as well, winning again against Woking, a team also near the bottom. At the bottom, are they in relegation? Let me just check. I'm sure.
I think they are. Yeah,
they are.
Yeah.
Hartlepool
they let go of Hodge.
Hartlepool getting a win against Altrincham, and a very, very good win as well. Very good win. They're absolutely flying, aren't they? Which is good to see them.
What a manager. What a guy.
No. Southend, I'm always really happy to see Southend winning a game, as much as it can have an impact on us because we are struggling now. But yeah, it's always massive to see them winning, especially considering their struggles that they had So yeah, good win for them away from home. Oxford City 2,
Oh,
Eastleigh 5.
Yeah, 3-0 down after 10 minutes. You're just done, aren't you? It's
Yeah.
I mean, that's
But they've
two
won
teams.
one, Nick. They've won one.
I know. Well, say Swindon were 2 down after 8 minutes, and in the Oxford City are 3 down after 10 minutes. I thought, I think I better give up. Actually, who shall I follow
The
next?
win run starts now.
Shall I follow Wrexham?
They probably wouldn't be grateful for it because they'd probably start losing as well.
Yeah, because they're inconsistent in their own ways, aren't they?
Yeah, I'll start following Wrexham.
Can you follow Newcastle United, Nick?
Sorry, I quite like those. So, just going on a slightly different subject, did you see the? I think it's Dorking, the shithousery with the corner kick.
Yes, that was funny.
Yeah.
But I don't know how long ago. I don't know when it was because I think it said it was against Aldershot. But yeah, it was brilliant, and in the commentary that went with it as well was absolutely top class. That was just so funny.
And last but not least, we have York City 1, Oldham 1, which I think is a fantastic point for York. Oldham are in some really good form at the minute, and I think I mentioned it. I think it was last week, wasn't it, Kieran and Claire, where I said I think Oldham will just keep going strong now. They've got a really good team. Mickey Mellon has kind of found his feet there now, and yeah, I think they'll be unstoppable now, Oldham. I know they had the times where they were quite inconsistent, but I think that was obviously when Mickey Mellon first started. They've brought in some more players now, and the National League as a whole is very inconsistent. So yeah. We'll look at the table because I think they're in the playoffs now as well, aren't they? But yeah, top of the league, and who we play on Saturday, which I'm not looking forward to, is Chesterfield.
Oh, look at them. What's that, 19 points clear at the top?
Exactly.
Like I said, the race is back on.
Hopefully they'll let us win.
Well, they haven't won their last 2 games.
Exactly.
I just hope now, because they haven't won the last 2 games, you don't take it out on us, because our defence is terrible. And if Will Grigg and some of the other players they've got there, I think he's been coming off the bench, hasn't he? I don't know if he's actually been starting.
Yeah.
What a name to have off the bench. Sorry, guys, I'm just going to have a cough.
God, that relegation battle, you know, you look at it, 21st place Dorking, and even as high up as 11th.
Dagenham,
that's 4 points. That's unreal. You talk 7th place argument in League 2, but then you go whatever the hell this relegation battle is. That's unreal.
This is what really scares me. And I said it last week as well. It just really scares me now, because all it takes is a couple of weeks in this league, and you're looking over your shoulder, and you think we were playoffs not that long ago, to be fair. I know we've got some games in hand and stuff, but so have some of the other teams, like near the bottom, and just the circumstances, what's going on.
And as you said there, with what's going on behind the scenes, you don't know how that's affecting players on the pitch.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll speak about that. I'll speak about that now. I've actually got some notes up, and what I actually want to clarify on this, because there's a lot of people, and I know it's just Twitter, but there's a lot of people online saying, well, it serves them right for spending so much money when they got to Wembley. This was under Keefill. When they got to Wembley, one of these teams now have come to the National League and they've overspent. We have not done that. We have not overspent. We have never been a club to overspend. We have been a club that really do manage our finances, and especially under Chris Dunphy as well, when Keefill was in charge, we have always been a club who other clubs look to, and we have been like that club that people kind of base themselves, because we bring on the youth, we kind of get free transfers, and then we build them up and kind of sell them on. Our youth players, as I mentioned, like your Luke Matheson, we had Callum Camps, we had Andy Cannon, we've had Jamie Allen, Fabio Tavares, we've had Quadro Barr as well. All these youth players who we've kind of brought through our academy and sold on. where it has hit us, obviously, like other clubs, is COVID. It has really took its toll on us. The COVID season, which I'm not like saying, oh, it's only hit Rochdale. It's not. It's only Rochdale who it's hit. Many other clubs have, but that on top of obviously then in League One getting a relegation hit us massively, and then a hostile takeover. Sorry, I've got notes up because it is that much to talk about. A hostile takeover, which thank God didn't go through, but obviously that was happening, and this was just after the COVID season. That was then happening, and there was obviously people linked to clubs, Charlton, who wanted to take them over. I'm not going to name names. Charlton, there was names who have been linked with Swindon before we wanted to take over, and just bad businessmen who was associated with football clubs who obviously wanted to get involved with ours. Our CEO, our ex-CEO, sorry, David Bottomley, who was also linked to all the shenanigans going on, he was partly to do with it. So us being fan-owned, we had to get these people off the board, and the Dale Trust and the rest of the shareholders, because we are fan-owned and it is due to shareholders, had to get these people off the board. So this is where our now chairman, Simon Gage, has come into it. He was elected to go on the board. He then obviously, and some of the Dale Trust and these people on the board voted for these toxic people. Also, who was obviously involved in the club, and when we kind of knew what was going on, they voted them off the directors' board. And then Simon Gage then brought his own men onto the board of directors, and will forever be thankful for them. But obviously, there were legal things going on to try and fight off this hostile takeover. And this is where a lot of our money difficulties have come from, because the money used to kind of fight these men off and fight this hostile takeover off, these legal fees, this is where it's kind of took its toll on us from the football perspective, because we've not really been able to, at that point, we weren't able to really concentrate on the football because we had that going on at the back of our minds. So that's been a massive hit, like on the pitch, and then obviously everything going on off the pitch. That's what's hit us. And then, as I mentioned, Simon Gage took over and stepped up at the time when we really needed him, and we'll obviously, as Rochdale fans, be forever grateful for him. I mentioned obviously the money we spent on legal fees, and it's took its toll on the football side, and then obviously poor managerial appointments. And this is where I think as well, as much as obviously they've done us absolutely brilliant, and I don't want to badmouth obviously Simon Gage and the board of directors, I think it kind of shows the lack of experience as well of running the football club, but also maybe their choices, because Robbie Stockdale and the contract we're giving him, you've just been relegated. And I know we didn't have lots of money, but you're kind of putting it on an inexperienced manager who's not really proved himself. So that, I think, was just, as much as you want to be like, we did it with Keith Hill, and sometimes it can work out, I think that was a bad choice upon himself. We've not really been one to have mega budgets, which we haven't. We've never been that club. But this board of directors, obviously, Simon Gage has mentioned in his previous interviews before, this was one of the biggest budgets from a Rochdale perspective. I'm not saying it can compete with some of the other ones in the league, but when we're in League Two and gave Robbie Stockdale that budget, it's given an inexperienced manager one of the biggest budgets that we've given anyone in that league. So obviously that's a red flag as well. And sometimes it pays off, sometimes it doesn't. But obviously he bought the likes of Tavon Campbell, who I mentioned, James Balls, and it just didn't really work out from there. And we just had a few like toxic players from that perspective as well, who just kind of it just shown that there weren't really much effort going on the pitch as well. And it was kind of a Rochdale that we didn't really recognise, because we have been known to being like a really family club where the players and the fans are like kind of as one, where the club is kind of all as one. We've never been like fans against players and managers and board against all this. But the last few seasons, it's just been really awful like that. So that's another part to play on it. And then obviously we gave Robbie Stockdale that budget in January. And then obviously we didn't have a very good finish, but we thought, right, inexperienced manager, we'll try and give him like more time. So we gave him a pre-season, we gave him summer to do whatever he wanted as well. Obviously, we had a really bad start, and this was the season we were relegated from League Two. We had a really bad start in that season, and 4 games into the season, after giving him a really big January transfer window, we gave him the summer, a pre-season, we decided to sack him. So that for me as well just thinks, well, it's a bit inexperienced, so why did we do that? And you can kind of understand giving it him in January, let him have a season through. But why let him then have the summer, the pre-season, to just go and sack him then 4 games in? You either sack him before or you give him more time to try and gel with these players, because you've just brought in a load of new players. Why then sack him just 4 games in? And then obviously fans were like, oh, we're going to get Keith Hill back, bring Keith Hill back, which I don't know whether it'd be the right thing to do. I don't know. Obviously, a lot of things went on with Keith Hill, and our fans were convinced we were getting him back. Turns out they bring Jim Bentley in, who I'm gonna actually, in one respect, kind of defend Jim Bentley, even though our fans don't really and weren't particularly fond with him, because I think whoever we brought in next had a lot to do, and obviously in Bentley, we didn't have a budget to obviously get in someone like, we were linked with Graham Alexander, Artel, and people like that, and you automatically think we're not going to get someone like that. Someone's not going to want to come to Rochdale like that. And I think Jim Bentley was just kind of came to us, and I didn't ever see it working with Jim Bentley. And I don't mean to be awful. I just think with everything that was going on, and he just kind of took that job at such a bad time, and there was just so much going on. So I want to defend him in that aspect. He brought us Danny Lloyd, who obviously we loved, and he's shown us glimpses of that in that season. He got us through that season because obviously it weren't a good time last season. And then obviously we sacked Jim Bentley. We've obviously had to pay him compensation, Robbie Stockdale compensation. So that I do blame the board for, because I think it's just lack of decisions and inexperience. So that I do blame them for, and some of the decisions. But all in all, and some of the Rochdale fans might not agree with me in this, but we are fan owned, and it's all shares. So we've got different shareholders. We've always had this structure of being fan owned at Rochdale. So obviously no charlatans can come in and kind of run the club into the grounds, which, yes, for some teams like abroad, it does work. Like you see Germany and the structure in Germany, and you've seen teams there work. But we're Rochdale Football Club, and as much as it has worked previously, we are struggling financially as an economy as well. Like in the world, we are struggling. In England, we are struggling financially. We don't have money. The COVID's obviously affected everyone. Cost of living's affected everyone. And just the whole fan-owned structure now, I think we do need to get away from. And a lot of our fans might give me grief for this, but I think Simon Gage tried, because there's our fans at the minute are split. So you have some of the older generation who have only seen Rochdale as fan owned, and then you obviously have the like younger generation who want investment. Like they've seen a lot of the good times under Keith Hill, and they're hungry for obviously achieving and fulfilling things. They've obviously seen the good times more, and they've obviously seen football evolve more, like in a newer generation, and they want obviously investment. Simon Gage has obviously tried to keep it as a shareholder, fan-owned way, and obviously trying to get fans to buy shares. But it's got to the point now where he's actually come out in an interview and said we are asset rich because we own our ground, we own the like bars and everything within the ground, so we are asset rich. But like financially, we are poor because we've come to a point now where he has put money into the club. He's obviously took loans out himself. He's put his own money into the club, but he can't keep pumping money into the football club anymore and the football side of it because obviously he hasn't got them finances now. Obviously, we're a fan-owned club and shareholders, but they can't pump their money into the club as well. And I think they have called now this EGM because they're trying the best now to kind of plead to these shareholders and have a vote to try and get past being this fan-owned shareholders club, because we have had people coming in with interest towards Rochdale Football Club. Apparently people do want to invest in us, but they don't just want shares, they want obviously more. If they're pumping their money into it, they want to kind of have like a more of a majority like say in it rather than just like a shareholder and only have a percentage. From what I've heard, I believe there is people who are interested in obviously becoming investors in our football club, but they don't want to.
Can I just ask you a question about that just while you've just mentioned it? So I know obviously at the moment it's fan owned, but what's been the general kind of consensus about maybe moving away from that if it's something that's going to help the club?
We've always been where it's been like shareholders who have there's been more shareholders than just like a majority like kind of owner who owns it all, and it's just got to the point now like where we just can't sustain like financial needs in the football side of it, like just being fan owned because and shareholders, because as we've seen like from this situation now with Simon, and to be fair to him, there's a lot of our fans who obviously have issues with him, and I'd get it from one point of view, like I've mentioned the inexperienced side of it, but I think he's jumped in and saved the club from obviously this hostile takeover, which I'll forever be grateful for. I feel bad for him in one aspect as well, because obviously it just kind of jumped into like a sinking ship at that point, because obviously there was so much going on. It's kind of like saved us from that. And then obviously just the choices and the inexperience on the football side of it, I think, kind of cost us. And this obviously the money situation. But I think with him as well, he's literally said, I put everything into it, like the money he's got, and just being fan owned on this side, we can't compete with people on budget side of it. And it's got to a point now where we've just got no funds coming in. He's tried to remortgage the ground to try and get cash that way, you know, to try and give us like quite a big sum of cash that way from it and then pay it off. But National League rules are apparently different to EFL rules as well. So we couldn't do that. We've got a loan from the council. And obviously we owe money to Simon Gage, and he's come out in interviews and said, we're not actually in that much debt. Like he's come out and said we're a good deal, because I think it's $1 million, just under $1 million that we have debt wise, which isn't that bad considering, you know, some of the other clubs. We own our ground, as I've mentioned as well. So we are quite an appealing like club to someone, like from that aspect. It's just obviously we need to kind of get to the point now and move forward as a fan base and agree together that we can't sustain being like this anymore, or obviously we liquidate at the end of the month. That's a fact now. Don't get me wrong, we could get someone in who we've seen from other football clubs in like Wigan, you've got Reading, situations like that. We might get an owner who might do that in a few years, but if that's in a few years' time, we might get an owner who'll be absolutely great and want to pump money into the club and kind of build something up. And you never know, we might just get someone who's just steady and steadies the ship, like with Chris Dunphy back in the day, and obviously under Keith Hill, where you see glimpses of cup runs, you see glimpses of like maybe playoffs and kind of them achievements. But I just think as a fan base now, and as much as I wanted like stability, like being fan owned, like you always think you've got that stability, but then I think to myself, we've got no stability if we're going to be liquidated, so we need to just move on and get out of this like channel now, because we can't do it. We've proved that we can't do it.
I've got quite a extensive opinion on the whole fan-owned money side of football. I'll try and keep it as short as possible, because I'm sure everyone has their own kind of opinions on it. But the way football works now, modern-wise, and you can tell by what you mentioned in terms of the divide on the opinion of the ownership, clubs they can't run as fan-owned anymore. There's not enough money coming in, and you bring in the aspect of, like you mentioned, the tough times that everyone lives through financially anyway, and people can't justify putting money in the club, which is entirely understandable. And Newport have just went through it, and it's why I quite I sympathise with it quite a lot, because Newport lost their club in terms of 1989, but I won't. I wasn't around to experience that, but just the thought of losing a club for anyone is heartbreaking. And I think at this point in terms of modern football, the way you kind of have to do it at very bare minimum, I think this is the way that satisfies most people, is a hybrid model, to where you've still got these shares from the fans, but then you've got someone who comes in and pumps money into the club and hopefully knows what they're doing. Obviously, Rochdale in the National League, I think the EFL have started to really justify and actually enforce the fit for purpose module when it comes to ownership, because of the situations at Reading and Wigan and everything. And we got taken over a couple months ago now, and it took us like 6 months for it to go through. And one of the first paragraphs, one of the first sentences, was that it was done because it was thoroughly checked through to make sure the guy who went in for the club had the right intentions. So, we're very much different, because we're very fortunate to have had the cup runs. We haven't made too much movement in terms of management and rush decisions and all that kind of stuff. So we were really fortunate in the way that we could, survive to live on it. But I think that, like you said, the relegations from League One and then, from League Two really didn't help, because you see a lot of teams that get relegated from League Two and they're not built to survive in the National League. Whether you mention that the rules are different when it comes to mortgaging out your stadium, whether the rules are different with the kind of money that you're allowed to, spend and move around, it's different. And just by default, you aren't going to get as much money from just kind of taking part in the National League season as opposed to the EFL. So it's a really tough one, isn't it? Because you're at a point where, it was bluntly put in the statement, and I think it is, as much as it's really harsh, it's better that it was put blunt in the statement that we are facing liquidation in the next month. And the issue is, and I really hope it isn't going to be an issue, but you've seen a lot of clubs in the past who may be fan-owned, may be owned by people who, just didn't work out with the club. And they've obviously been desperate to change ownership. They've been desperate to get somebody in to put money into the club. And like you mentioned there, you could have someone who is interested in buying the club because it could be valued as cheaper because of the, the situations regarding the club and the kind of, situation it's currently left in, and they could be completely fine for the next year or two, and then you can all of a sudden see them switch in the aspect of benefiting their own pockets. But the hope is, and I think when reading the statement and seeing all the news come out, it looks like the people who are interested in investment hopefully actually have the right intentions of, balancing the books, actually putting, some more money in the club, more than the fans could have done in terms of shareholders. And hopefully, and I think this is really important when you come to football ownership, as opposed to just throwing money into the club, I think, and this is why I'm really excited for Newport's ownership, because of what Hugh Jenkins did with Swansea. He made the club financially stable on its own. Yeah. So he got new commercial partners in, he branched out the ability for the club to make revenue in unique ways that you may not think about as a fan-owned club. It's a very, it's a difficult situation as a neutral to read, because again, it's bluntly put, isn't it? It's really harsh that if nothing changes in the next month, that's kind of that. And I suppose that's not the correct term. That's that, because you've seen clubs come back from that kind of adversity. But I can only imagine the kind of experience you've had over the past couple of days, because I couldn't ever live with the idea of losing my club. And thankfully, from the tweets that have come out in the past 2 days or so, it looks a little bit more positive, and it looks like someone or people are going to come in and give offers and hopefully will steer the club back in the right direction. But I wish Rochdale, wish you all the best in terms of that regard. And I think we need to say the same to Torquay as well, because they've bluntly put it as well. I think they have to have the same kind of principle, and they're very much in the same boat, aren't they? So, best wishes to both clubs.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, to a lot of people, you've got people that are earning a living playing for those clubs, and obviously that's one side of it. But more than that, you've got the people that that survive the weeks to go to the football and see their friends, see the football team, get outside, and go and do something that they enjoy. And everybody deserves to keep the football club. So some way, somehow, Rochdale have been a club for so long. You might see the odd thing where people are like, ha ha ha, but it's not for me. Nobody deserves to lose a football club. So I just hope that something is done. And from what was it Michael? From what he was saying earlier, it sounds like there's some positive noises. So hopefully that's something that that can happen, because our Shah deserves to go and watch Rochdale, and we look forward to your rants.
I'm hoping, because I know there is a lot of people who obviously have only known us fan owned, and I don't want them to be stubborn about it, because at the end of the day, it is in writing that we could be liquidated by the end of March. So take a chance, and then if it happens I'm not saying it is going to happen, but you've got to take the chance. This could happen at the end of next month, whereas if these people vote, obviously, and allow it to become like a different structure, it gives us more time. We could be better off, we could be worse off, but at least we'll be a club. At least we'll still be Rochdale. Do you know what I mean? And this is what I'm begging people. And I didn't want it to kind of, at one stage, I wanted it because I wanted it to be stable and stuff, but this has proved that we're not stable being fan owned, because it's come to this. So I'm just hoping the shareholders do kind of allow it now. At the end of the
day, you need to think about it logically, and to put it quite bluntly, fan owned or not owned, someone needs to come in and invest. And if that means losing the fan ownership for the security of your football
club. At least we have our club.
Exactly.
Please build the Rochdale.
The thing is, there's been, you talk maybe one circumstance of fan owned actually being sustainable. You maybe talk 2 or 3, but it's just the way modern football works. It costs so much more to just be a club in this environment, and it doesn't benefit that we're in a situation where it costs a lot to kind of just exist as people at the end of the day, and having to have that extra responsibility isn't going to work. And I got a message from one of the people that regularly tune into this. I can't remember his name for the life of me at the minute, but I'm sure it'll come into my head during this. But he said to me, why didn't the EFL get involved, and why didn't they notice it was going on? Because it's been relatively well documented that Rochdale haven't been the best off financially for a good little while. And I said that, and you'll notice it now with the press coverage that you'll get, and all of this, even the press coverage that Torquay have gotten today. The people who are almost higher up, they don't care. Bluntly spoken, they look like they don't care about clubs until it's too late. Like, you would have never heard about what was going on at Reading if it wasn't for the fans. You wouldn't have heard about what was going on at Rochdale if that statement hadn't come out and been so bluntly put. At the end of the day, unless you're a mainstream club that is bringing in loads of revenue, it's really difficult to actually, justify and build yourself to a point where you can progress as a club. And it's really scary, because the more that time goes on, you'd imagine the more you'll see these clubs be in this situation, because the module of ownership doesn't benefit lower league clubs. The module of the kind of world we live in, and the costs for even just the Premier League and all this other stuff, doesn't benefit lower league clubs. We've talked about it on the last show in terms of just the money divide, and we spoke about it in the group chat a little bit, that 1 week of a Man United star's wage can cover 3 transfer windows for a club, or can cover entire seasons. To me, there's nothing benefits lower league clubs anymore. And you even go to the televised FA Cup games, them ignoring the lower league clubs.
Yep.
It really is difficult to just be even an owned club in League One, League Two, National League. It's difficult to just exist when you're owned, nor mind fan owned, unfortunately, and especially when on the pitch it's not going well, and you're making all these changes with managers, and you have to pay the compensation, and you're losing players for fees that you wouldn't imagine they'd be worth, or you're losing them for free. It's really tough to be a lower league fan. It's why I'm grateful to have my club at the end of the day, because we're at a point where we can look with optimism. But at the start of the season, I was worried we were going to lose our club, because we were fan owned and we had stupidly bad net losses. But we're quite fortunate to have the cup runs and have all this other stuff, which is why scrapping cup replays is something, again, that you can. I'm slightly drawing off topic of specifically Rochdale, but this is for future of lower league clubs. Nothing benefits us anymore.
Yeah, with the changes that's happened with with the Prem, how a lot of clubs used to survive is you'd bring young players through, and there was an avenue to sell them without getting ripped off.
Yeah.
and you used to have a reserve side. Back in the day, there used to be the old combination league that you played against, where Swindon is situated. You had Arsenal, Chelsea, and teams like that in there, where they would bring players in who were recovering from injuries to get back to fitness. Then you could have your reserve side and bring young lads on that would then benefit you as a club. And then you would be able to, if you get a really good one, sell him on to a Prem club or a top club at a decent price. But now you've got the Premiership sides that have got academies with 200 players assigned to that academy. So lower league teams have got, very little chance of getting players through. It can be done, but how many lower league teams have got a reserve side that play in a competitive league? not money, if any. In it all adds up, and it's all these little things that where you could have got a benefit from, and it's all top heavy, and and you can, Sky is the issue with how much money they pumped into the Prem, and the Prem want to keep their money, and the top six want to keep even more of the money, that even with the other sides in their own league. It's I understand, and I don't mean this the same harsh. I understand you say like a Prem player is on more a week than a club it has got a whole transfer budget, or they could run a whole season on. And I've seen people say, well, why aren't the clubs giving money to Rochdale, for example? In reality, that's not going to happen. And where would it end anyway? Because you get the counter argument that, well, if you've run your club into the ground, why should you be bailed out by a club that can afford it? I mean, we've had bad owners, and we've got issues with our ownership at the moment. There's a lot of unhappy Swindon fans with the way we're being run, and we're losing. What he's saying, at least £1 million a season, and we've got one of the highest gates and highest prices in the league, and it's like, how? We've got a small squad, we've got bare bones of backroom staff, and admin staff, so you question what's happening with the money, where is it going? And you've got like the fit and proper test, but allegedly there are people at our club, that are behind the scenes, but not officially. So it's very, very difficult, and you're really lucky if you get a good owner that thinks of the club first and the fans, rather than I can buy this club, make some money out of it, and that's the only reason I'm in here. And it is so difficult for all us clubs down in the lower leagues at every level. When I read the other day, QPR have got losses of 20 million. What, how are you going to survive? How's that sustainable? It's just all across the divisions. It's I don't know what the answer is, and it's really, really difficult. And you just hope clubs like Rochdale, because it's not just the football club itself, it's the whole community built around it, and it affects people massively. That football is part of our culture, for millions and millions of people. And there's those that are able to get to games, and there's those that, for whatever reason, can't get to a game but still support the club and still want to see clubs survive and do well. So it's just a really difficult situation, and obviously we hope that Rochdale get it sorted in Torquay. I mean, that sounds even worse, the state they're in. It's difficult situation for everybody.
The thing is, and this is me just saying it as bluntly as it is, I don't know where I'd be without my football club and being able to, feel part of that community and have the connection with the players and everything. I don't know where I'd be. And the fact that none of, like we've said, nothing benefits us anymore. The academies of Premier League clubs, the facilities they've got probably overshine the facilities that a League Two first team gets. So, nothing benefits us anymore, and you understand why, because the 99% of the majority, 99.99999 continual percent of the majority would prefer to watch Manchester United over Rochdale, just because it's easier to access. You look at the standard of football and it's better and everything, but the connection that lower league fans have to their club is much greater than you'd ever imagine it being with a Premier League side. Like, I regularly talk to Newport players, I regularly talk to the staff and all this other stuff, and you see videos of people that meet Man United players, and they're acting like they've seen the next like president. Like, it's incredible to me, the kind of change in the change in popularity, and that's bluntly what it is, isn't it? It's popularity. The reason they chuck money at the Premier League is because of because it gets more money, and it at this point does probably go down more than, in terms of Rochdale circumstance, it goes more more than football. It goes, where does the money come in?
Yeah,
and when you get that money, where do you spend it?
That's part of the craziness of it as well. I mean, the money from the top, it's mostly TV money, and actually, whilst it is handy for a lot of those teams, Sky don't care about those football teams. Like, what cares about the football teams is the fans, and it's stuff like what Sky have done to us is moving the game from a Tuesday to a Thursday, so then you've got to go on a Monday. Like, that's what Sky care about. They care about their viewing figures. So they're going to put those teams on that have got the demand, and they forget about the teams where, a little bit of TV revenue can make a massive difference. Like, the people that always suffer is the fans. And in this situation, the people that suffer is the fans. Yeah, the people who will be out of work for a bit will struggle because they've got bills to pay. We're all human. We've all got our bills. But, like, there needs to stop being so much impetus on football on TV, because really what's keeping the football clubs going is the communities. It's the people that put the bums on the seats, because without those people, the clubs are nothing. And I think that, unfortunately, that's the way a lot of the football is gone, that the money's in there because of the TV. And something he's doing about that as well. But in terms of, what Rochdale are going through, we've been through it. We were in administration like 2008, 2009. And it's one of the worst things to go through as a fan, because you can't do anything. You're hopeless. You there's nothing that you can do. And you've just got to kind of hope that putting that statement out, which was so bold, so raw, and so real, that actually Rochdale are being completely honest about, actually, like, we're up shit creek, and this is what needs to happen, and it needs to happen now. Like, you've got to hope that there is someone sitting out there that's gonna invest the right way in that football club, because, like, so many clubs are struggling right now. And that's not right. So someone needs to do something about that in general.
I entirely agree, and like I said at the beginning of this, I'm not one that was around when the original Newport, I believe we were Newport AFC at the time, or Newport FC, but I wasn't there when that club went into administration and went through liquidation and everything. But football is nothing without the fans. Newport County AFC, what it is now, it was saved by a few hundred fans of the original club that, got us formatted, and we were really fortunate to have the people that we had. We had a guy that won the lottery and all the Euro Millions, or whatever it was called, and he helped the club out and all this other stuff. Like, the football is nothing without the fans. Newport wouldn't be a club today. Swindon wouldn't be a club when you talk attendances and all this other stuff. Stockport, Rochdale, and we're the only ones that suffer from mistakes higher up in the boards of things that we don't. Not only can we not control, half the time when you talk half these clubs, you don't even know what's going on higher up in terms of the board and what the decisions are with the money and where it's being made. Like, that when managers get sacked, for example, when they have long on their contracts, that'll, take a hit on the compensation, buying players and everything, but you don't know where the rest of it goes. Like, some owners are really sneaky in terms of how they spend the club's money and how they kind of, use it to benefit themselves. And it's why the the fit for purpose or the fit and proper test or whatever it is bluntly spoke complete garbage that needs fixing. It needs looking through, because if we don't look through it, there's going to be more clubs all up and down the pyramid that suffer with it. It's not only lower down where you talk National League South, National League, but like Nick said, QPR, a 20 million loss. That's absolutely massive, and the supporters can't do anything to stop that. So you have to have smart business people that have the best intentions of the club at heart. And unfortunately, there's been too many people that have wiggled their way into clubs without actually having the intentions of the people that actually make that club run. So it's awful. It really is. And, I wish the best for both Rochdale and Torquay, because as bluntly put, there's nothing else you can hope for, is there? There's nothing else you can do. I know that a few fans, I think, was when Scunthorpe were in their worries, I think they set up like a GoFundMe or something along those lines, and whether that would be very beneficial for either or club could be a thing. But then you bring the fact up again of, should the fans have to spend their hard-earned money on mistakes that are made higher up on the board? But at the end of the day, like we've said, football's a community, and us as fans, we've got to do all we can to make sure those communities don't break down.
Yeah, I completely agree. It's like we've got a squad builder kind of thing now, and that was how we brought Keaton Hayes in and things like that, because our fans have been putting money obviously towards the squad. But I just want to address as well, as much as obviously he has made his mistakes and he is to blame for just the inexperience. I know a lot of our fans, especially the younger fan base, are really against Simon Gage. But at the same time, he came and picked us up at a time where we were really difficult. He's put his hard-earned money into it as well. And obviously, I just want to, because there was a lot of people on Twitter as well who's like, oh, you need to change your owners, get him out, blah, blah, blah. And I think maybe if we do get an investment and we do need to go down that line, he's probably, with the lack of experiences he's had running the club so far, maybe he does need to step down. Obviously, get the money back. We owe him the money that he's put into the club. Fair enough, get that back. But I don't want to completely come on here, and I think I've been respectful as well, because to be fair, he's done a lot for our club, and I don't want to badmouth him. I've obviously said the things that I do think he needed to improve, but that's just due to him not doing this before, and obviously picking up the club at an awful time and trying to get us through, obviously, these times. So I don't want to fully blame him, because obviously he's not had that experience of running a football club before, and he's done the best for us. Because I know a lot of people have come on before and on Twitter, and they've been slagging him off left, right, and centre. But me, I want to come on here and just say my thanks of what he's done so far. And it doesn't look good that obviously we've had the relegations back to back, and some of it maybe because of these decisions and some of these appointments. I'm not saying it's not, but maybe we would have done the same thing as well if we've, you don't know, don't you? So you've just got to say, yeah, it is what it is. Now we are in this situation. We could be liquidated at the end of a month if these circumstances don't change. Us fans, as much as obviously we have disagreements on certain things with each other, we don't fully agree. We've all got our own opinions on situations. We need our club. We want our club to survive. Obviously, we want Rochdale AFC. We want to still support Rochdale AFC, whether that's in National League, whether it's wherever. But I think we do need to come together and agree that we need to get out of this fan-owned structure now, because it's just not sustainable. And as much as some people may be stubborn to the fact because it's been like this for so long, I think we just need to come to an agreement now that our club needs to move forward. And if we don't agree on it, we've lost our club at the end of the day. So it's got to be that.
Football's a game of football's a game of opinions as much as it is actually watching the game and enjoy it. And it's nice that fans have different opinions, but when you talk your owner, the majority shareholder, whatever you want to call him, in that respect, the difference between, I think, what he's done and you use Reading's owner, for example, in terms of what he's done. Your owner the guy in control, I should say, had the right intentions. You know, he didn't go in with the intentions of benefiting his own pocket. And yes, in hindsight, you can look at it and go, oh, maybe he should have hired more footballing experience higher up on the board to help him out make these decisions. But at the end of the day, you can't entirely blame him, because it's not like he didn't try. You know, he got things wrong, and it's very, you know, interesting to look at things with hindsight and say he should have done this and he should have done that. But at the end of the day, you can't look at what he's done. You've got to look forward, and more than ever, I think, in terms of Rochdale, like you said, your fans do have to come together and decide, look, we either say no ownership and we lose our club immediately, like that's the blunt way of putting it, or we allow we roll the dice, we allow the chance for somebody to come in with the intention, hopefully, of, you know, benefiting the club and getting them back on track, as opposed to benefiting their own pockets. But, you know, it's weird to look at things in hindsight, isn't it? And
sometimes
you've got to look forward.
Constructive criticism isn't an issue, but an out witch hunt is just wrong, and it's not going to help anything at this moment in time.
It's the same with players, isn't it? Like, you can say a team didn't perform well, or, you know, if it was really, really bad, you can say, oh, these couple players maybe didn't perform up to speed. But then it's that, and then, you know, go on a witch hunt about one player because they've had one bad game. It's like getting to a point where you're getting this toxic environment at your own club from, you know, the top end down. At the end of the day, I understand that that everyone has the same intention of, you want the best for your club and everything, but there's a time and a place to be. I mean, there isn't really a time and a place, admittedly, to just be horrible without justifying it, but there's definitely a time and a place to be in agreement of, look, we may not all have the same opinions, but we want the best for our club. Let's not look at the past, and let's try and move forward.
Definitely. It's like there were people, this will be my last point now, by the way, I won't go on for too long, but there was actually people, I don't know if any of you saw my tweet, like, I was sad when it first obviously came out. I was really sad and everything, just wanted a day to just be sad and kind of mourn it, because when you see that, you think, oh no. And then I kind of...
I'll be doing the same.
I know. The next day I kind of reflected on it and thought, right, as a fan, and I don't care if anybody laughs at me, I put a tweet out. I was like, right, I need to try and do something. Like, what can I do? And it was like, try and get the word out there, try and get people aware of the situation. And maybe, I'm not saying a potential buyer will come off Twitter, but you never know who sees it. You never know what, like, important person from, like, a media
Social media is
outlet.
powerful.
Exactly. And I just thought to myself, do you know what? I'll put it out there. And I put, Dale fans, what other things can we do? And I had some people like saying, oh, we could do this and this, kind of make sure you bring a friend to the next game, like make sure you drink in the bars and all the money goes to the club. And instead of like going home, like straight after the game, just have that one extra pint or one extra like soft drink to just try and put money into the club, you know, doing things like that. And there were people saying fundraisers. And then there were people saying about protesting on the pitch. And to me, as much as obviously there's this situation going on, and I know it can be useful in some ways, but what are we really protesting about? Because the chairman is putting money in. He just can't put money in now because he's not got the funds. And he tried to make it where obviously these shares were available so we could stay fan owned because the fans wanted it to stay fan owned. He's put money into it. Obviously, like I've said, he's made decisions due to lack of experience. I've said that several times, but that's due to lack of experience. And I'm thinking, what are we actually doing a pitch invasion about? Because essentially, like, you've got these people at Reading, like, doing these pitch invasions and stuff, which you've got someone there to invade the pitch about and get it out there because he's done really bad things towards the club. But I'm thinking, Simon Gage, what has he done? He's made mistakes. yeah, he's made mistakes, but he's put money into the club. Obviously now he's come out and said, like, I've not got the money. We need to get out of this route now of being fan owned because we can't sustain it. He's tried to go down that route, which the fans wanted. Majority of the fans wanted this. He's tried to do something about that. Like, you can't exactly do a pitch invasion, like having a go at this guy when he's just doing what us fans are saying.
It's not the right context to
It's not, is it?
be doing
Thank you.
protests, no, and it's not actually going to benefit because you hear about, you know, point deductions and fines for that thing, and the last thing you need is more money to worry about having to pay back. So I understand, again, it's in good intentions, but it's not the right context because he's not made the right decisions, but it's not like he's actively went out there to run the club to the ground.
Yeah. Just on this as well, Dan has also said protesting could worsen a situation, pitch work. To be fair, if they ran on our pitch on Saturday, they'd probably slip on a puddle. It was that bad.
Did you see Bradford's? I'm sure that was worse.
I know, to be fair, it was. Jen, obviously, she's a Morecambe fan as well. And she's put, we are in the same boat. We can't do anything to protest on the pitch because it'll just affect the club. But we do have a match against Wrexham. That's all we can do right now. And to be fair, I agree, like, get it out there and stuff. Maybe, like, off the pitch, do, like, these, do different things and get it out there that obviously we want to change the structure, or we need investment. Like, get out there the message that we need investment, but don't really go and protest about someone when you're going to look an idiot, because if it comes back, like, if, say, like a social media or a media outlet or a TV outlet get that, it's like, who are you protesting about? A man, due to inexperience, just making mistakes, trying to do what's best for the club. Do you know what I mean?
Well, the thing is, the media would end up twisting it and make it sound like your owner's a horrible person, and then it's not going to want him to stay at the club, is it? And, you know, try and further benefit and further push this move. He's not going to want to do that if the fans are all of a sudden turning on him for, you know, yes, things that are in his control to some degree, but some things that have just been out of his control and he can't really, afford to do.
Yeah, it's mental. I'm just hoping, obviously, it gets to a point now where we are just all in agreement and we think we just want this club to survive, and whether it means it has to change the structure. I've said it so many times, it just has to change. We can't sustain it. We've done it for this long, but obviously, like I said, the economy's changing. We're also not the best, like, we're not the biggest supported club, because you've got to think as well, we're in region of a lot of big teams. You've got your Manchester United, you've got Manchester City, you've got Stockport, you've got Oldham. Obviously, Bury still have a massive fan base, even though obviously they've the bad situation what happened to them. You've got Burnley, you've got Liverpool aren't a million miles away from us, Preston, Blackpool, all these clubs are just so close together.
I'll say you don't have Salford.
I know, I didn't mention them. Our fan base is bigger than them.
There you go.
But yeah, I just think to myself as well, like, we're not looking at aspect where we have that. So we just need to get out of this. I'm not going to ramble now. We just need to get out of it. And if you are a Rochdale fan, see this. And even if you do, like, you are like in the mode where you do want it to be fan owned, it has to change now. And that's not just from me, it's from a lot of Rochdale fans now. Times are evolving, and I know you've probably been there a lot longer than I've supported them, obviously from the older generation, and we obviously do respect your decision, but it's coming to a point now where it has to evolve to obviously make changes and sustain the club as a whole. So yeah, please do the right thing.
I think everyone that's neutral has the same opinion, that it, unfortunately, despite the older generation maybe want to stay fan-owned, the regime does have to change at the end of the day.
It's a club, isn't it, at stake now? So obviously It's what it is. So hopefully, I need to read obviously what Michael put in as well, and it does sound a bit more positive. And from the chairman's interviews and stuff, which I've heard today, it does sound like there is people who are interested in us as well. So hopefully, if it just has to get past this EGN now, which obviously people do have to vote, the shareholders, whether they want it to remain fan owned or obviously evolve into a different structure. So it just all falls on that. We've got a fans forum as well next week, which is actually live on YouTube if anyone does want to watch it. So obviously, I'm presuming the manager, the chairman, some of the directors will obviously have their say on the situation as well, and everyone will be able to see it. So if I do share that link on Twitter, please share that as well, everybody, in the chat, because it'd be very interesting as a neutral fan to watch that and just get a bit more of a background from the actual horse's mouth, what's been going on and what is going on. So yeah, thank you. And I'm so sorry it's been such a long show, but I just wanted to get my points across, and I'm buzzing I didn't cry. As much as my eyes were filling up, I'm buzzing I didn't actually cry.
No, well,
I got to a point
well,
thinking about how much I love football. I got to a point where I was like, oh, am I going to? Maybe. No. We held through a serious conversation, and there wasn't even a moth to disturb it.
I know.
A baby tried. No, it was very eloquent, very well put, and very heartfelt as well. And I think all a real football fan that's not a Rochdale fan wants is your club to survive. Like, people want to hear about it. People need to hear about it because, you know, it's like we say, it's not just about a football team. It's about a whole community, about a whole group of people, about a whole coming together. And that, it's just so important that Rochdale are saved, Torquay are saved. Like, just, everything crossed.
Rivalries aside, you wouldn't want it to be your football club, would you? So, treat it with that same respect.
Just before we sign off as well, I just want to add on the fact I've seen a lot of things on social media as well, where there's been a lot of other fans like saying, ha, 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 couldn't have happened to a better club, blah, blah, blah. And I just want to kind of say that, and I've seen a lot of other people, whether it's from Stockport's fan base, Bury's fan base, Oldham's fan base, there was a small minority of our fans who obviously said some nasty things, who obviously been horrible about them clubs, obviously, and their struggles. And it was a little minority of fans. Like, I'm a real football fan. Like, I have banter with my cousins are Bury fans. I have friends who are Oldham fans, obviously, you, Claire, and a few other Stockport fans. I have on my social media, I class as friends as well. And we have banter on the pitch. We'd love to like beat them and things like that. But all teams aside and football clubs, I would never want anything to happen to those clubs. And I've had a lot of stick on social media as well, and people going on about Rochdale and saying nasty things. And I just want to say, every person, like if you're like we're linked to Bolton, Stockport, Oldham, Bury, I've tried to spread the word about your difficulties. I put in money, like obviously towards fundraisers, things like that. I've tried to help save your club as well in some way. So I'm not the idiot fans. We all, no matter what fan base you are, up and down the country, across the world, you have idiots who represent your football club, but you also have the people who know what football's about, who obviously
the small minority get the say, don't they? They're always the front runners that you see.
Definitely. It's for clickbait as well, half of it. Half of it wouldn't actually say it to a Stockport or Bury fan or Oldham fan or a Rochdale fan stood in front of them. Half of them do it online for a few likes and a bit of clickbait. And I just wanted to reiterate that I'm not one of them idiots, and neither is anyone on this podcast. So we are real football fans. And
but most decent fans realise that.
Exactly.
They know who the idiots are. They just
we took it after the comments you saw the other day.
Yeah,
I actually took it into one of our WhatsApp chats, just so that you know.
Did you? Well, I actually, one of the people, it really, like, I'll tell you off this podcast, but one of the people as well, I was just like, really? Because, when you kind of like class them as a mate as well, and I think, well, I know, like, obviously say it to the minority of the fan base or have like your banter with some of the others, but when you've got actual friends as well who support that club, and like I said, my cousins are Bury fans, like Bury through and through, and we used to always love the banter on Derby Day and things like that, but I was the first person to go and support them and things when obviously
that's the thing as well, like, do you really not want another Derby Day?
Exactly. Imagine, I think to myself, like, all these Oldham fans laughing at us, that's like whatever crowd, like your gate, your money will then go down and things like that. And it's like all these local derbies and stuff. If a local team goes bust or something happens to that team, your club's losing out on money.
It impacts the area as well, doesn't it? Like, it's weird to me. And look, Bury are on their way back up, aren't they? I think they're 1 or 2 tiers off of like the National League North, so they're on their way back at the end of the day. And like, you'll have so many teams in that area, so long as Rochdale and all this come through it, that will be able to necessarily just benefit off each other. They'll all benefit commercially from it. So I don't understand why you'd be in the local vicinity of a club and you'd be wanting them to go bust. I understand the rivalry and the banter, and you'll say the opposition club's bad, and you'll go at some of their players and you'll want to win, but wanting to go as far as liquidation, that doesn't benefit your club.
No. It was really funny as well, actually, because I don't know if you saw yesterday, but some Bury fan was putting the same tweet off a Rochdale fan and putting it on every Rochdale fan's post, and he did it to me. And I said, well, what's the context in this? I said, I know I'm a Rochdale fan, but that's not my tweet, so why are you bringing it up? And he was like, ha, ha, ha. And I thought, but that doesn't mean anything to me.
That as well.
But I thought, it's not my
through
tweet.
It and they hope for someone else. It's really weird, isn't it? And I'm like, how backwards could you be to go through it and wish it upon someone else?
But this one tweet was from a Rochdale fan, and don't get me wrong, like, if someone's dishing it out and stuff, like, give it back to them, like that fan who criticised your club and laugh at your club. But don't post this random Rochdale fan's tweet on a post where I've not put anything. If I put something, which I haven't, because I wouldn't do that, fair play if I put something about the club, you bring that back up from however many years ago. But don't put someone else's tweet on my post when it's got no relevance to me whatsoever.
Literally, it's almost like that one person show, like Bennett, represents the entire club. It's so weird to me.
I know, it's like, oh, fair enough. But yeah, enough on that. And I know it's been a really long podcast now, and everyone in the chat, thank you so much for bearing with us. I will let you go very, very soon. But yeah, sign outs. Kieran, if anybody wants to find you, where can they find you?
The lovely name that is to the bottom left, which I think would be there.
Yeah.
it's that on Kieran UTC on Twitter. I think there's a dot in between Kieran and UTC on Instagram. And then it's literally that for YouTube, TikTok, and I even think Facebook. I don't even know.
I love it. Claire, you wasn't with us from the start, but you've stayed with us, and I do appreciate you being on for the Rochdale chat as well. Thank you so much. Where can everybody find you?
Claire_Jeffs, and just for probably the last week, top of the league.
Oh my god, I just saw the caption below Claire. It says who was top of the league too.
Yeah, I didn't see that. And Uncle Nick, where can everybody find you? And like I said at the start, I love your background. Thank you so much for that.
You're on mute.
You're muted.
I'm here. It's Ocus_Road, and it is on Twitter and it is on Insta, but I don't use that much, to be honest. And I'm on Fools Rushing podcasts on some Mondays and some Fridays. So
are you on tomorrow,
good
Nick?
Friends.
Sorry?
Are you on tomorrow?
Should be, yeah, because I'm in competition with Woody, because he's done 13 in a row and I'm on 8 in a row. So I've got to catch Woody up. So we're I So yeah, I should be on.
They'll probably see this as well, Nick, but you and Woody are actually my favourites on that show.
I'll let him know.
I know, I like
let
all
You're
of
my
them.
favourite, Matt. You're my favourite, though.
They all bounce off each other, and they all have exactly the same opinions that don't factor with each other at all. So they're all great.
I love all of them. But if I had to pick up, I don't
Uncle
know
Nick.
now. Uncle Nick's like up there, but I do love Woody as well. I do love
Woody.
him.
Woody's a good man.
Ben when he has his tantrums.
Yes.
Oh, I do like Ben's tantrums, actually. Yeah.
Ben and Fifey, it's just like
When they clash,
they're like a married couple.
They were very close to having an episode with just them two, and I really want that to happen because it would be the best. Probably 6 hours.
You ought to see how. Well, you shouldn't see our WhatsApp group once those two get going. Oh my god, it's like sometimes I go onto the WhatsApp in the morning. It's like 50 messages on there. I think, oh Christ, they've been at it again.
I love it. They do make me laugh.
But it is they are good. This is good.
I'll definitely be tuning in tomorrow. It's my favourite things. Honestly, it's up there. One of my favourite shows and podcasts, and I loved it when I came on it as well.
Yeah, you have to come back on. You haven't been on for a while. Come back on with us.
It's because I'm National League now. You could get him to start Rochdale, so I can come.
I also really enjoyed coming on to it. It was good fun.
It's good crack. Yeah, it's good fun.
It is. And if anybody wants to follow me, I am SharXRAFC. That is on. Not X. What am I doing? Oh my god! I don't know. That look you gave me.
Redo.
Right, erase it, everyone from your minds. Erase it. Right, and if anybody wants to follow me, I am SharXRAFC on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. If you want to follow my Game 2 stuff, it's Rochdale HGT. But most importantly, we have our Absolute Football Podcast socials on Twitter. We have Absolute Ball Pod. On YouTube and Twitch, we are Absolute Football Podcast. On TikTok, we are Absolute Football Pod. Instagram and Threads, if you still do it, I don't know if you do, we are Absolute Football Podcast _. On Facebook, we have an Absolute Football Podcast. On Mondays is our Premier League and European show. On Wednesdays is our WSL and Women's Championship show. And obviously on Thursdays is our Lower League show, and they are all on at 8:30 p.m. But yeah, thank you so much to everybody in the chat as well. There's been so much interaction tonight. Love your kind words. We appreciate you all so much. It wouldn't be as amazing as it is if yous weren't all on it. And yeah, the community that we've built here is just something really special, and we appreciate all of you. Hopefully you all have a good weekend, and hope all your teams win, apart from Chesterfield, obviously.
And Swindon.
And also today.
Stocky.
And Stocky.
Stocky.
Enjoy your weekend, everybody, and thank you so much.
And you. Take care.